Good morning, little Miss Sunshine. So the subs asked, so I'm going to review Jeff Bobo's coverage.
I would be interested in knowing what happened that day. I know it's going to be hard for me to have to relive, but
Well, sir, I was at work, so, but from what my wife has told me and stuff, her and her mother and Summer were planting flowers by her grandma's trailer, which is about, 20 feet from the house there, real close to the house. And Summer all of a sudden said, Mom, I want to go in the house. So she said, fine. And her brothers were in there watching YouTube.
So this was on, I believe it said June the 17th, 2 days after Summer went missing.
And so she watched her walk in the door and went in there. And then she went in there, and her brother said that she was going to go downstairs and play with her toys. So she went downstairs, and then Mom come in and says, "Where's Summer?" Well, she's downstairs playing with her toys. And they hollered for her, and there was no answer. So she went down the stairs, and she was nowhere to be found. She went out the basement door. The door was unlocked. But she's never left the area. She might be on the other side of the house, because I went out there before and called for her, and she come out from behind the house because she just.
I'm going to have to mute in between so I don't get copyright strike. I know, little Miss Sunshine, that planting flowers. It's the craziest cover story.
Has to be outside. She's an outside type of person, and she was gone, buddy. And my wife called me, and I said, hang up for me and call 911 right now. And I was at work, and I called 911, threw all my tools that I could in the vehicle, and from Jonesboro, I come out. I made it out here before anybody because I was freaking out.
So he took the time to pack up all his tools. Right, Truth Binder, it's like they all practice. And then here he says he made it out here before everybody. But to hear him talk later on after this day, he was there after the cops. And I believe he said right behind Andy. Yes, I believe this is the very first with Bobo.
And when I got home, I drove to the bottom property, and I realized that all my neighbors and stuff were combing the woods looking for her, and I realized right then and there that she was not there. I knew right then and there that she was gone. I just, because she would never leave there on her own. Somebody had taken her out.
that's what I was going to ask you. Is she capable of
No.
going through? They've covered miles of area to search.
No, she would never leave because well, for one thing, we have bears, and while
So he's saying she would never leave the property. He knows that for a fact. Good morning, daughter of Scotland.
dogs, and we got druggies that, come around to other people's houses and stuff, all hours of the night. But this was like at 5:30 in the evening, which makes me think, someone was laying in wait. I've heard somebody say that these people track kids down on Facebook and find them, and I've heard that story. I mean, I don't know, but all I know.
Funny how he says people find these kids on Facebook. Isn't that where that for sale video was posted? But old Sherpy Sr. said different. Yeah, seems like they all have a story. And they say the story don't change, but we've already seen from what he said in the beginning till now has changed. Maybe not by a lot. The planting flowers is still the same thing.
She's definitely not anywhere around there. I think somebody's abducted her and took her out of the area.
Wow. Well, have you noticed anybody suspicious?
No, and they've done such a good job. They followed every single lead possible. They have tracked down all kinds of people. Yeah, they've tracked down everybody. They even, had me in there, lie detector test on all 9 yards.
They have to rule out every possibility.
Yes, absolutely. So it didn't bother me to do it whatsoever. I understand that.
They tracked down a whole lot of people. It does bother me that he says she's not around here. And then in the West case, they said they would be around here. So it makes you wonder if she's still around there.
And a lot of times the parents are responsible.
It's recent history that's been the case, or like a family member.
Right, absolutely, yes. But we don't associate with all them people. We try to associate with church people and stuff like that. And Summers has got a lot of friends in church that just love her to death.
Where do y'all?
They only associate with church people. Funny, the people that they associated with have been getting arrested here lately. The same kind of drug addicts and drug dealers that aren't church people.
Seventh-day Adventist, right across the street from Walmart, there in Kingsport.
Oh.
Yeah, we was going to the Baptist church, but when I found out the tree Sabbath on Saturday, I wanted to go to a Saturday going church, so I thought I'd go check them out one time, and we've been there ever since.
Oh, wow. What have you all been doing while this has all been going on?
Just trying to cope with everything.
Yeah.
I'm talking to the police. I can't be alone right now for some reason, and so if I have to, I'll go down there and talk to the police and just hang out with them, because I just can't be alone right now. I don't know. I just
How are Summer's brothers doing?
And this picture kind of disturbs me with the oldest boy having his head shaved so short. Yep, Dudley was locked up. He's always been one of the weird ones, especially with the story that Don acted like he lost his best friend the day before. Just makes you wonder if all these people are all still talking and just separated themselves when whatever happened to Summer happened.
They're coping with it better than me and their mother are. I don't understand that, but I mean, when they really think about it, they're upset, but they're coping with it way better. Especially the youngest one. It's like I don't know. It's weird to me, but
Maybe it doesn't seem real to them.
yeah. But me, the most I've done is watch the news a little bit. I can't focus on nothing.
Are they coping with it better than them? Or are they told not to show any emotion? I pray these kids don't know what happened, just because that would be a horrible thing. But for Summer's sake and to get justice, you kind of hope that somebody knows something that will tell.
What have you all been doing while this has all been going on?
Just trying to cope. Just trying to cope with everything.
Yeah.
I'm talking to the police. I can't be alone right now for some odd reason, and so if I have to, I'll go down there and talk to the police and just hang out with them, because I just can't be alone right now. I don't know. I just.
How are Summer's brothers doing?
They're coping with it better than me and their mother are. I don't understand that, but I mean, when they really think about it, they're upset, but they're coping with it way better. Especially the youngest one. It's like I don't know. It's weird to me, but
maybe it doesn't seem real to them.
Yeah. But me, the most I've done is watch the news a little bit. I can't focus on nothing.
I don't know. He sounds pretty calm for somebody whose kid's been missing for 48 hours. I think I would be in a loony bin.
Originally I'm from Utah, and I met my wife in Arkansas, and we come out here to help my mother because she got sick, and then she ended up dying from, I can't remember what it's called, but anyways, but she left us that property, and we've been there ever since.
Okay.
We've made Tennessee our home. There's a lot of good people here.
When did y'all move here?
Well, about 13 years ago from Arkansas, I come out to help my mother because she was in need.
So
yeah.
So 13 years ago they moved there. Daughter of Scotland, it'd be sad if they know, but it would be good for Summer if they know. So at least somebody can tell what happened. For some reason, the two younger kids allegedly are not in the same home with the older kid. And I wonder why that is.
Your kids, this has been their only home then?
Yes, sir.
Born and raised?
Yes, sir. Well, except for my oldest one. He was born in Arkansas.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but the rest, I think, the rest were all born here, yes.
And does your wife have a Wisconsin connection?
Yes. Well, her sister, my wife's sister come up missing, I don't remember how many years ago it was, but they never found no trace of her either.
Where was that?
And I don't like the way he says they never found no trace of her either. Kind of weird words. Either. Like he knows they're never going to find any trace of Summer. That's scary to hear, to go back and listen to this 2 years later.
I don't know. I really don't know. They never pay attention to any of that part of it.
Yeah. Do you know where she grew up in Wisconsin?
I sure don't. I'm sorry. Well, yeah, I have a criminal history. I do, when I was in Utah, when I was younger, but I've turned my life around and doing my best to be a commandment keeper, for sure.
So we know that was a lie. Because from that day, for the next year and however long, we know they'd been drinking, doing drugs.
Me and myself, they can do whatever they want to me as long as my kids are safe. That's how I feel.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
And so, what is your plan now? I mean, what is your outlook?
Well, my only plan now is just, no matter what happens, either way, I'm stay in church, be a commandment keeper, and wait for the resurrection day, buddy.
Yeah.
That's all we can all do,
Do you have hope for Summer being found?
Well, I have hope, but statistically speaking, and looking at it, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah.
A tough.
Just waiting on the resurrection day. 2 days after my kid goes missing, I'm just waiting on the resurrection. Not waiting for them to find my child and bring her home. He's just the commandment keeper. Hi, Sandra. Hi, YouTuber. Watching from Aussie. Supposedly the real reason he got involved with the SDA church is because he was ordered to do community service there. Yep, that's what I heard too. There's been no sense of urgency from them since the start. No talk of searching. Well, most people don't search for something if they know where it is.
Thing to think about.
Well, yeah, of course. I'd feel for anybody in that position. I'm sure you would too.
Absolutely.
Any kid that's being tortured or hurt in any way, and missing their parents and their good friends in church and stuff like that. Just.
And that tortured or hurt. He has said that over and over. He hopes she's not being tortured in a basement. From day 2, he's already saying she's being tortured and hurt. What other parent of a missing child is talking like that? Day 2 of their child missing.
Unimaginable what she's going through.
Yeah.
It's the only thing I pray for is for peace for her somehow. I wish she could have got to know Jesus better or something, but she's so young. she don't know what all that stuff means in church, but
I don't think God holds that against children.
oh no, not at all. I just wish she had peace of mind, that's all.
Do you have any hope that this is all going to end well?
I have hope, buddy, but you looked at the statistics of it all, I mean, through our church and other churches, the worldwide prayer, was going on for her. So, plus all the law enforcement agents are praying and everybody,
Already no hope. He wants everybody to stop looking because there's no hope. True, unfortunately, we've seen that over and over again in these children cases. The guilty very rarely search. You're right. Hi, Amy. I'm here doing the Bobo. YouTuber, yes. He said he saw Summer down on the road with their brothers many times.
we're just hoping that God will turn it around, somehow, some miraculous way, but,
Okay. All right. Well, I know I'm taking up a lot of your time, and I really appreciate you talking to me.
You're fine, buddy. Thank you so much.
Take care, and I'm praying for you, and I'm praying for your family.
Thank you, sir. God bless you.
Take care.
All right, we're going to go to the next video.
Good afternoon. I'm Leslie Earhart with the Tennessee Bureau of Investigation. In just a minute, you're going to hear from Hawkins County Sheriff Monty Lawson, followed by Captain Tim Coop with the Churchill Rescue Squad.
We'll come back to this one. I want to do the ones with him interviewing Dawn.
Good afternoon. I'm Leslie Earhart with the Tennessee Bureau of Investigation. In just a minute, you're going to hear from Hawkins County Sheriff Monty Lawson, followed by Captain Tim Coop with the Churchill Rescue Squad. Summer is still missing, and we are more concerned than ever and desperate to find her. TBI agents continue to work with the Hawkins County Sheriff's Office and the FBI in an effort to determine what happened to Summer. We are utilizing all available resources to include the FBI's Child Abduction Rapid Deployment Team. We want to reiterate that the circumstances leading to Summer's disappearance remain unclear, which is why we've been exploring all possibilities. Agents and detectives have followed up on a number of leads, to include residential surveillance video and photos from around the area of Summer's home. drivers seen in the area at the time of her disappearance have been identified and interviewed. While we've not
So she said they collected surveillance videos from around the area. So we know they know who's been in and who's been out.
ruled out an abduction, we simply do not have any evidence at this point to confirm that's what occurred. For that reason, the ground search for Summer continues. It's possible that she wandered off and is lost and afraid. Sheriff Ronnie Lawson is going to talk more about what we need from property owners at this point. Sheriff?
I've never understood why the community couldn't come and help after so many days after law enforcement has searched. You know, the little boy in Florida on day 2 was located by the community going out there and searching, something the bloodhounds couldn't do or the cops.
Thank you. First of all, I want to let everyone know that what a big asset that Mount Carmel Baptist Church has been to us. They've opened their doors to the church, the fellowship hall, and land. As y'all see, this is a very remote area. We would be in desperate trouble if we didn't have that place to set up our command post. With that said, we use every available resource that we have. Today, I want to use you all. I want the word to get out to all the residents in Upper Beach Creek community, Hawkins County, and Sullivan County. We need the residents to go back today, tonight, tomorrow, as soon as possible, go back and check their entire property, any outbuildings, any barns, any place a child can hide. We desperately need you to do that for us. It's easier for you to check your own property than it is to send officers there. We have not stopped. Captain will tell you, we've been 24/7 for 6 days now. So we desperately need help from the community now in searching their own property. Good question. Captain.
Thank you, Sheriff. As both of them have stated, we will continue to search for Summer Wells until we locate Summer Wells. As of June 20th,
Has anybody heard of any other searches going on? Since they said they will search for Summer Wells until they find Summer Wells. Hi, G-Ma. It's because they didn't know who was involved and afraid of people disturbing evidence. They suspect many, it seems. Yeah, I think it's going to be more than one, too. Where did Brandon learn his behavior? Yeah, you YouTuber. The apple doesn't usually fall too far from the tree. Nope. When have they been searching lately? They haven't. So, did they find her? Is she the child that was found in Carroll County, Virginia? We still haven't heard a word on that. It's been 7 months since they located that child. We still don't know a name. We don't know anything. Hi, Annabellas. Just because they haven't told us doesn't mean they're not searching. That's true, Truth Finder. And you know that Ronnie Lawson knows that letting the public search helps because his own cousin or some relative of his found Carly Trent. Yep. So they know it works and nobody got hurt there.
1st, 2021, search and rescue efforts for missing 5-year-old Summer Wells will continue throughout the day and also the night. At this point, we have utilized 72 agencies from Tennessee, Ohio, Virginia, Alabama, Georgia, and North Carolina assisting in these search efforts. Numerous specialized search and rescue groups and canine teams have been represented from these multiple different agencies. To date, we have estimated approximately 2,400 acres have been searched since Tuesday night when she was reported missing. The rugged mountainous terrain continues to cause problems and slow the search operations at times. The search will continue Tuesday morning into Wednesday morning. An updated release will be issued as new information becomes available. And as stated before, if anyone has any information on the disappearance of Summer Wells, please contact Hawkins County Sheriff's Department and/or 1-800-TBA-FIND. Thank you.
We'll open it up for a few questions at this time.
Just wondering, has Summer ever wandered off before?
According to family members, it's not common for her to wander off.
Oh, sorry, you guys. I was probably echoing.
Saturday, there was a pretty extensive search into the evening. Can you elaborate on what that tip was and why there was such a large presence for crews to come back out?
Anytime we have information that could potentially lead us to locating Summer, we're going to use all resources. Crews were in the area following up on a lead. Unfortunately, Summer's still missing.
How is the changing weather impacting your searches?
Sure. That's a great question. Captain Coop, can you explain?
So the projected forecast here for the next 24 to 48 hours will change our approach. It will not change our aggressive approach. The only thing that this will change, it will change maybe what terrain we approach at this time. Due to severe thunderstorms, we can't put our teams in danger to turn around and maximize the situation. We are monitoring weather 24 hours a day, 7 days a week with live weather updates. We are also utilizing the National Weather Service, who calls us on a routine basis. If there's any type of weather that's approaching our immediate area, they have been more than helpful with notifying us in a very timely manner to allow us to know to we can plan on how we're going to approach these areas.
Talking about the weather, is there a concern about some of these crews from other areas having to go back to your area to respond to storms there?
Speaking with some of these teams, especially the teams that have been coming out of state, traveling 4+ hours, they also have had to do what we've had to do is utilize as much resources as we can to find Summer Wells, but we still have to be able to cover our areas. So a lot of these people, they're still allowing people to stay back. When these crews from out of town then return, they'll swap out. Those crews will then monitor their areas and send us fresh crews, and we are doing the same thing for our resources.
Gma, this was done on the 21st of June, on day 6.
Here locally.
Do we know when the active search will potentially turn into a recovery mode instead of a potential rescue mode?
Well, let's elaborate on that.
We will address that at some point, but right now our focus remains on finding Summer. We're using all resources as of today, and we want that to be the focus right now.
This is a question more for maybe Leslie and Sheriff Lawson. You just mentioned that you have used some surveillance video, things that you had asked for earlier in the week. Can you elaborate what you saw in that surveillance video and how that might have helped you?
Well, as you know, and you guys helped us get the word out, we asked residents to let us know if they had surveillance cameras around their home or trail cameras. Residents have reached out. We've reviewed those photos and video, and if we identified a vehicle in the video, we would identify the driver and then speak with the driver to interview them to see if they had any information.
How long
So here they say they had video surveillance, they had cameras. So they definitely know some of the vehicles who were in and out of that holler on the day Summer went missing. The question is, what do they know exactly? Dudley may have guilty knowledge. He may have been there when that for sale sign or that for sale video was taken. Allegedly, that was his truck up there on the hill. It was raining that day, so were they working or were they at Dawn's? Something only they know. Yeah, I believe they know a lot too, Little Miss Sunshine.
When someone typically goes missing, how long does it take to find them? Like, is this exceptionally long?
Every case is different. It's a case by case situation.
We're on day 6 now for maybe the folks that are out there in the field. How are you keeping, I guess, morale and spirits? How are, I'm sure folks are tired. They've been out here tirelessly for days on end now. How are you kind of keeping folks engaged and spirits up?
Ultimately, the people that's involved with the search operations we all have the same outlook. We will not quit until we find Summer Wells. So these guys have spent countless hours, day in, day out, nighttime. The thing that I stress with my guys is if you're getting to the point that you're getting tired, please take a break, get rest, rehab, recover. That way you can come back and continue to go stronger. It is a large family with law enforcement involved. We keep each other's spirits up. It's all a team effort. And to elaborate on it, a lot of times you guys being up here, you start seeing a lot of people leave at the evening time. At the evening time, it is too treacherous and too dangerous unless TBI or Sheriff's Department gets a lead that they need us to go help assist on. Too dangerous for us to keep our guys up in these mountains in this treacherous terrain at nighttime. But I want you guys to know and rest assured, along with the community, that search efforts do not stop when it gets dark. We have been utilizing fixed wing and aerial aviation.
So they use fixed wing and aerial aviation. So I would love to have what they seen that night. Because remember, they had EquiSearch searching the same ground, different people, new bodies, over and over for a reason. You can't tell by the careful wording way back then that they knew what they were being told was a bunch of lies. Exactly, just like in the West case. They knew from day one when they woke them boys up at their grandma's. Because them boys, each one by one, were woken up and told the same stories. I just need closure. It's been almost 2 years of utter chaos. I know. I think everybody here feels the same way. Just like a lot of us followed Orrin and Orson's case. And hopefully we get a conviction. Hopefully them boys get justice. And somebody tells where their bodies are.
To literally scan this area from the time it gets dark to the time that we return in the morning. It does not quit. They utilize multiple resources, FLIR, and other things to continually map this area and to continue to search for someone else.
This is a question more for Sheriff Hawkins, or Lawson, I'm sorry. I know we've talked a lot about there's 2 different operations going on, Find Summer as well as the investigation. Is there more on the investigation side that you can tell us into anything that you've talked with family members or anyone who last saw her since we last spoke on Friday?
We've interviewed so many people in community on the road, and we're still jointly working with TBI and the FBI. Everything's really going real well. We cover each other's tracks, go back and re-interview, and like Captain said, Leslie, we're not going to stop this on something.
How is her family doing? I mean, this is going into day 7. Tomorrow will be day 7 since their child has gone missing and no leads in this massive search operation. How is her family holding up? Have you spoken?
I believe that too, Alicia P. Because the first time I did a video about Marlena, she asked me not to do any more. She said that her child was a victim too. So therefore, I stopped doing any videos. I know she said she picked her daughter up the night before from the wells because her daughter was sick. I personally don't think Dudley was involved. I do think Don fired him to get him out of the way so no one could vouch for Don being at work, and it gave Don a motive to use to blame him. Exactly, Ed Amy. How is the family holding up? Well, they're wasted. That's so true. This has been the worst. I've been following true crime since back when you had to read a book to know what happened. I've never seen such a shit show ever before. Yeah, watch the Lori Vallow case. If you want to see a group of characters like Summer's case, just watch this one play out.
Spoken with her parents? How are they doing?
We've spoken with her parents. I can't speak for them. They spoke with you. They're being cooperative. Of course, they're upset. So we continue to keep them updated and do whatever possible we can to find Summer. And we just ask everyone in the community, especially those of you who have any tidbit of information that you haven't shared, to please come forward. Her family asks that as well.
And last week, you also talked a little bit about speculation and social media rumors. Has that continued to get worse over the weekend? And is that continuing to maybe even cause hindrances?
Sure, it's always a battle. We ask residents with credible information to call 1-800-TBI-FIND and submit tips through that avenue. We find that we're receiving a lot of tips that is a screenshot from Facebook. It's an opinion or speculation. That's not a credible tip. And it just bogs down the system, as I've mentioned.
And I think we all know that what a credible tip is, and it's not here on YouTube or off of Facebook. Oh, thank you. You don't need to do that, but I appreciate it, daughter of Scotland. They also know that tips that were called in were from the area, from people who were trying to put them off into looking elsewhere away from the Beach Creek residents.
Before, so please only share credible information. Someone's opinion or idea on Facebook is not a credible tip. That's your question.
I was going to ask.
Okay.
Has the family been ruled out? I know they said that they understood you investigating them and interviewing them. Have they been ruled out at this time? Still,
As we've said time and time again, the circumstances to Summer's disappearance are very much under investigation. And at this time, we continue to explore all possibilities. Okay, thanks for coming, guys. We appreciate the continuing coverage. We appreciate the community and all their support. And again, I can't stress enough, anyone with information is asked to call 1-800-TBI-FIND. Thank you.
And we stress Anybody with credible information, please call 1-800-TBI-FIND. I did fall into the Zulema testimony today. I swear I fell off my chair more than once. Horrifying for sure. I'd like to welcome all new members. I do too, and thank you, Daughter of Scotland. Oh, how do I get a membership gift? Price I'm setting I know nothing about. Me either, G-Ma. I've never got one either. But I definitely appreciate Daughter of Scotland for gifting them. Okay, let's go to the next interview. And I believe this is the one Dawn gave, and it should have the date on it.
Eating healthier doesn't need a total
So this one is June 22nd. The father, Summer Wells, discusses his criminal history.
There's been some subjects that I've been trying to sidestep because I just didn't feel like it was appropriate. But I think the TV news has already gone there, so I wanted to give you an opportunity to give your side of the story and explain. There's the situation that occurred in October, the domestic arrest, and then the order of protection that your wife filed, which she dismissed. I saw that. But, yeah. Would you like to address that and tell me from what happened there?
Well, I don't know. I really want to, but I mean, my intention.
You didn't plead to the domestic.
You don't know if he wants to let us know or the world know that there was a domestic violence on October the 14th, 2020. But let's hear what he has to say, knowing what we know now.
Stuff you pled to the possession of a gun while intoxicated. So the domestic stuff.
I mean, I've kept a black powder gun, the whole time I've been here because we do have bears, and I thought if there was an emergency situation or one of my kids were being hurt or something, I would have quick access to it being locked up in my truck.
Right.
And I just forgot about the part that you can't have it in your vehicle. I can have one in my home, but not in my vehicle. And I just that part kind of slipped my mind,
I mean, and I wouldn't even ask you about this, but it's already out there now. And that's why I felt, now's the time to maybe broach the subject, because if you don't address it, it's just going to get worse. Speculation is just going to get worse. The report pretty much states from the police perspective what happened. Is that pretty much how it happened from your point of view also?
And what's that?
Let's see what he says from his perspective. And everybody who got a membership, you can thank Daughter of Scotland. And thank you, Daughter of Scotland. It's greatly appreciated.
I guess there was like a jealous there was a accusation.
Well, my wife was trying to make me jealous so I'd come back, and it worked very well. So yeah, I come across the country as fast as that little truck would go. You know, I wanted to go to Utah, and I had a job, pretty good job there, working in Park City and everything. And I wanted to move my family out there and sell the property, but I'm not the smartest guy in the world, and I've done everything the long way and everything. And and plus the cost of living in Utah is so sky high that it's just unbelievable. You can't even hardly find a house. When you do, it's so expensive. It's just unreal. I was glad to get back to Tennessee anyway. I mean, there's a lot of stuff that happened out there. I was attacked in so many ways, like Satan himself was attacking me. And so I'm really trying hard to.
Wow. He was attacked like Satan himself. Can you imagine anybody wanting to attack him like Satan himself? Always the victim. Always taking the spotlight off Summer. That part I will never understand.
Be a Christian, my stuff. So I got attacked in a lot of ways. And, so I was actually glad to get back.
So she wanted you to come home and was trying
yeah, exactly.
But there was kind of a confrontation, though, that when the police get involved, and it's up to the next level, I guess you're saying.
Yeah. I mean, it's just one of them things,
And
she thought I was out there at Utah, and I was at my sister's house, and she was having a party, and I was trying to tell her that I was at my sister's house at this party, and me and my son Josie was getting some food, and I told her I need to go. And what I was trying to tell her was I need to go get in bed so I could drive to Park City that morning because.
He was at a party at his sister's, and Candace got mad. But wasn't she partying with old Jose at that time? Yeah, they do both do it. Because on Miss Daisy's channel, you don't hear Candace talking about Summer either. Let's just put her to the side. Pretend she don't exist. You got the world watching and could be seeing this baby's picture. But instead, let's just don't talk about it. Don't ask questions about it. They only talk about Summer if it brings them money and or attention, in my opinion. They ain't even doing that over there. It's heartbreaking. Why, if you have an audience, why would you not be calling every news station, every place that will listen to you and put your child's face out there? In 2 years, you could have been on a lot of shows to help find that baby. And the only reason I can think, and this is my personal opinion, is you don't want to find her and you know where she is. Right, Alicia, it's never about Summer. It's only about money when it should be all about Summer. We want her home. We want to find her. We want to know what happened to this child. I think I've done 136 videos on this child. I wake up every day to see if she's been found, see if there's any new information. I look in every surrounding state to see if a child's body has been found. And that's why I keep going back to Carroll County. Just really bothers me. 7 months. We've not heard nothing else, but people are getting arrested. You know, Alicia P., it's kind of like the Lori Vallow case. A whole slew of characters. I think the whole thing is a lie. I think Candace tried to sell or rent the house to Andrew, and that was the reason for that mysterious trip. And their house didn't go through. Never, ever have I seen parents behave like those two. No, me either. Well, Lori Vallow, she went and got married in Hawaii while the world was looking for her children. I went and asked what Daisy and Candace have done to find Summer. I was blocked. Of course you were. They timed my ass out. I ain't been blocked yet, but I've been timed out. And they're not even mean questions I'm asking.
There's all kind of work out there, you know, and they give me a good job out there. And what she heard was something totally different. We are partying and getting drunk or whatever, and she heard Lynn's voice in the background. She heard, I got to go so I can continue partying, is what she heard. Mm-hmm. But that wasn't the case. And I was, you know, and I didn't elaborate a whole lot to her, so she thought she was thinking the worst. And that, you know, actually, I was just trying to get in bed where I could go to work. And we was just getting some food and saying hello to my sister and everything like that, you know. But she thought it was something totally different, you know. And I understand that now. We didn't communicate as well as we should have, you know.
When I asked the sheriff about all this stuff,
They just didn't communicate well. Just had an Amber Alert for Dade County, Florida. Was it a child? Because tomorrow I'm going to look for Sarah Dreyer from Riverview, Florida. JLR was out there today, and I told him the other day when I was going to my sister's, I seen buzzards in the woods, and I had looked at my mom. I didn't know somebody was missing, and I said to her, God, look at all them buzzards. I hope there's not a body there. So my old man's off tomorrow, so he's gonna come with me because I didn't want to go in the woods where there's wild hogs and alligators because it's right by a pond. I don't want it to be her, but if it brings closure to a family, I will at least go and see. But Lori Vallow did not come on YouTube with BS story after BS story collecting money on people's channels. You're right, Alicia. This is crazy. And how are all them people going to feel if the parents get arrested and they finance two monsters? I would rather be wrong on my end than be wrong on theirs. Yes, ma'am, Carly Trent. That's another weird case, too.
he said it was not relevant to the investigation, but now that you know it's all coming out, I just I wanted you to be able to clear the air before.
Yes, sir. Thank you. I appreciate that.
Before there's going to be so much speculation, especially that order of protection. That was not. That wording was not good. It said she's fears for her safety, her mother's safety, and the children's safety.
Yeah, you know, there was so much confusion when I first got back. You know, she was still thinking on them same lines, and I didn't know anything about that until we was able to sit down and talk about every little thing that had happened. You know, then we started figuring out, and I was able to explain to her that wasn't the case. You know, and just like I'm telling you now, I mean, we discussed all this, and it was like, well, what if we was both thinking in totally different directions? You know, and
He can't even tell the truth on what they were fighting about. They were fighting because Jose was in his house, laid up. Why do these people send things to her? It's just enabling her. Alicia pulling his money that soon parts. But how sick would you be if you donated money to a suspect? Not just Dawn and Candace, but we have to think about Jody Sue. And who else? Because there's other locals who are YouTubers, who are shady characters in all this, who are related to Andy's side of the family. What everybody forgets is the Bernards are land rich there. They pay a lot of land taxes. Hawkins County is low on funds. They need that money to keep the county going. I know, G-Ma, I wasted 8 months of my life listening to it too. And the reason I did is because I thought any minute they're going to come arrest her on live because she was on there 20 hours of a day for a long time. But God didn't let me see that happen yet. I still pray for it, though. Those who have been collecting money with the claim they are going to get the boys back soon, over a year. Yeah, I don't think they are going to get the boys back.
was able to figure it all out. And, you know, they had the order of production. I mean, it was just a fight between me and her friends and her mother. Mm-hmm. And they knew I had the black powder pistol and my robots, so they used that against me.
How long have you been married?
You know, I'm not sure. It's been since Summer was a baby, I think.
Yeah.
Or, you know, it's been so long ago. It was at a friend of mine's house, Mrs. Trent. I'm trying to remember. Yeah, I don't know. I'm not good with dates and everything like that. I got
when Summer was a baby, so probably 5 years or so. Well, here's another sticky one that a situation.
It would be nice if this was a hoax and that Summer just reappeared, just like she disappeared. But I don't think so. Sad to say, I really don't believe that's going to be the outcome. It would be the best outcome, just like that one little girl, I can't think of her name, but her parents hid her under the stairs so social services couldn't find her. And I think it took them 2 years to find her under the stairs.
With your oldest son, and his previous criminal history, and his conviction as a
Yeah.
just as a sexual offender against children, that's
Right.
that's a pretty big red flag. And I asked you about that the
Well,
first time we spoke.
Yeah. Well, let me elaborate if you don't mind.
Sure.
Okay, if here in Tennessee, say for instance, your boy or one of your kids, is 17 and the one he's with, no, say he's 18 and she's 17 or something like that. Okay, in other states, especially like Utah, you're probably not going to ever get out of prison. I mean, but here in Tennessee, they look at there's got to be so many years difference between them.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, but in Arkansas where he was arrested, they don't care about that. But here in Tennessee, he would have never went to jail, and he would have got to raise his boy, and everything probably would have been fine. But in Arkansas, total different story. I mean, there's got to be a certain amount of years between them, and there was only 18 months, maybe a year, I don't know, between them.
Oh, was that a situation like she was like 16 or 17 and he was
yeah, like 18 or 19, and she was, it was only like 18 months difference.
Wow. Okay.
Yes, sir.
That charge
had a baby.
Look a lot worse.
I'm talking away and I'm muted. You're right. There is crisis actors that were involved in the distraction and cover up. There was a lady named Kathy. I don't remember what she went by in the beginning, but if I showed a picture, you'd probably know who she was. But she owns a business of crisis actors, and she was on here in this case in the very beginning. It's the craziest thing I've ever seen in a missing child case.
Yes, it does, and it's wrong. It is wrong. There's a lot of, yes, absolutely.
Okay. Well, see,
I'll even have him call you if you want me to, and he could probably explain it better to you.
Well,
he's a good kid.
When we spoke the first time, you said that you talked to him.
Yeah.
You said that you talked to him and that he was in Utah when this all happened.
No, they was in Arkansas.
Oh, he was in Arkansas when this all happened.
Yes, sir, and he done time in Arkansas State Prison.
Okay.
Yes.
No, I mean, when Summer went missing. When Summer went missing.
Yeah, he's in Utah. Yes, sir.
Okay. So I think the police have already alluded to this, but there's no connection between him and what happened to Summer.
No way he would ever even think of something like this. I mean, when I first told him, he bawled like a little baby. My sisters all cried. And there's so many good Christian folks around here I didn't even realize till this happened.
Mm-hmm.
And do you notice all criminals reach for God when they've done something heinous? They all find religion real quick when something that they did happens and they don't want to take responsibility for it. That's my opinion. But he talks about all these Christian people. Did he meet him at the motel where they sell children? or at the crack or meth house where he runs off to, allegedly.
How many good people there are around here.
Well, do you want to talk about what happened to you in Utah? How what your previous criminal history was?
I really don't want to talk about all that stuff. And, Utah's a whole different ballgame than Tennessee.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the Mormon state. I call it the moron state. Sorry.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just how I feel. I know there's a lot of good Christians. There's Mormons that are good Christians that are trying to be good Christians. But the whole Mormon thing, I stick strictly with the Bible. So if I don't agree with the Bible, then, and I'm not trying to put any Mormons down because I know there's a lot of good Christian folks in the Mormon church, and I just don't believe the Book of Mormon.
Well, what was your conviction for?
I've had, several charges over the years. I used to have, I don't know if I should elaborate on any of that, but it, I just.
You don't know if he should elaborate on that. Because people might not send him no money if he does that. They might not feel sorry for him. They won't be able to milk the people with the big hearts who believe that these parents had nothing to do with what happened to their child. I'm not one of them. I'm sorry. They showed me who they were in the beginning, and I believe them.
Okay, it's your choice. I'm not gonna go.
It's not anything good. I never used to be. I wasn't really a Christian when I was younger, and I found God in prison. I started studying the Bible intently because I wanted to change, and that's when I got to know God and became a real trying hard to be a Christian. Of course, I backslid multiple times, but I'll never let it happen again. I promise you that.
Okay. Well, I'm only asking because I just want to give you an opportunity to clear the airs, and I think it's, as this goes longer and longer, the reporters are going to need more things to write about or do on their and so eventually this is going to come around. So I just wanted to give you a chance to get ahead of it. Head it off at the pass. I can understand how a person isn't the same person they were when they're in their 20s. Right. But it's going to.
They're not the same person that they were in their 20s. No, most people aren't. They're worse people now than they were in their 20s. Think about it, Don. You showed us from the beginning. You're still showing us.
It's going to come out eventually the longer this goes on. So I wanted to give you an opportunity to get ahead of it. If you wanted to.
Okay.
And so this is your opportunity.
Okay.
Is that all? So is that all that you wanted to say about that?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. And believe me, it don't give me no pleasure to talk about this because as far as I'm concerned, you're the victim, your wife's the victim, your kids are the victims. But it's not going to this isn't going to be brushed over at this point, I don't think. Right.
No, not at all.
So I know that and it's going to be discussed and going to be the topic of discussion.
Yeah, people can speculate all they want. That's fine. We just want our summer back. She was definitely, I consider it a great blessing from God. She was a daddy's girl. She wouldn't even go to her mother for the first year, and it just kind of broke her heart. But I've never seen anything like that in my life.
Yeah, it was said that they just got her back. Where had she been? I don't know. Was there a transfer when they went to Pigeon Forge? It makes you wonder. Just something to stew on. Yes, Jeff Bobo, he's a good reporter. Oh, you have to listen to the live at home. He was talking about Ziggy just getting her daughter back. They got Summer as a newborn. She went to CPS and they just got her back. I don't know about that either. Why Summer could feel her mother's disdain for her. He was not speaking of Summer when he said that. He was speaking of Ziggy's daughter. Well, Helen, I was just going to ask if anyone knows yet exactly what he meant by that. So, Alicia says, go watch Ziggy's. Creators cut that piece out and cut out the context. Yes, he was ordered to. Way too many questions and zero answers. What about Candace being at the gas station at 4:30 that day? Yes, went straight to the bathroom. Was something put there for her? They need to see who went in the bathroom any time during that day. Alicia P. said it was about Ziggy and her daughter had been with Ziggy's mother's custody. She was cared for then and went downhill when they got her back. Helen, read Alicia P.'s comment. She was talking about it. Ziggy's unbelievable.
And I never expected anything like that. And, you know,
there's always a connection between a father and a daughter that's special.
Yeah. I've never seen nothing like this, and I don't know why she was like that exactly. But I mean, she's got her little friends too, you know, younger boys that she wants to be with them all the time, you know, and stuff. And, you know, and I knew, you know, someday she's gonna grow up and get married and go on, you know, raise her own family. But now I just don't know what's. I have no idea where she's at or his daughter.
I know it's a nightmare. And I didn't want to have to broach these subjects, but I knew that it's coming. It's coming eventually. You're going to be asked.
She has such a good, loving, kind heart. She just, you know, she's so loving. I mean, it's like God sent her an angel.
Well, has there been any developments at home or in the search overnight or since we spoke?
Not a trace.
Yeah.
Yeah, God sent him an angel because she's touched all our hearts and made us care whether she gets justice. Whether it's you guys who did it or whoever did it, we want to know where she is.
Not a trace.
It's like a living nightmare.
Yes, sir. It is. It really is. Okay. The first couple of days, I kept thinking I might wake up and it would be a nightmare, but it is a living nightmare. It's a real nightmare.
Are you still working? Did you get back to work?
This is the second day I've been back to work and I ain't got much done at all. I just can't think. I can't concentrate. I don't know. I wish I wouldn't have even took on another house at this point, but I don't know. I just hope my bosses will be. I'm sure that they're sympathetic. I mean, I'm sure.
Did you see the someone had posted a reward for information?
I didn't.
It was a fellow from Kingsport. It should be online. On the Kingsport Facebook page, you can find it. But a fellow from Kingsport has offered a $25,000 reward for anybody that provides information.
I thank him from the bottom of my heart. Thank you, whoever you are. Thank you. God bless you.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Well,
What gets me is all the deaths surrounding everyone who had a connection with the wells. That's weird to me. Yeah. 6 people, right? 7 counting Rose. That's why Candace had her kids throwing up gang signs. And Ellie's kids too. Yes, Sonia Sessions. They all were trafficking meth and cocaine. Isn't that what Dudley got caught with? Cocaine. That hammer comment just floored me. I bet 98% of us initially said, oh no, when we heard about Rose being missing too. I know, you're like, what the hell? And then the Taylor guy, who was found the next day. There's also an old man who went missing same day as Summer. I gotta look him up. I don't think they found him. He had a beard. Makes you wonder. On the 16th, Punkin Taylor, connected to the Crawford, drowns. Jose Roman, suicide. Leslie's, Ellie's friend, heart attack. Yeah, starting to seem like the Vallow Daybell case. Something about H I don't like. Yeah, where he said when the interview room asked him where did Grandis sit when they picked her up from the hospital, and he points at Leslie and said she was sitting where Grandis wanted to sit where she was sitting. See, these people are all band of drug traffickers. H was brought up in this crap. Leslie, Fred Hill's ex-wife. Fred Hill's mom and dad. Hunter knows something. The 2 feminine females in the family gone. I can't get past that. I don't believe or trust anyone connected with this case. Brianna Tester. Yeah, and Brianna Tester's mom came to YouTube when she was unalive and said, it has nothing to do with Summer's case. Everybody, please stop. Let's not bring attention to the clique of people and the family members there. Wreaths are for funerals. Well, don't you think that's what this was? If y'all haven't, you should go watch Enchanted Life Pass video about this prayer garden. It's more like a memorial, like they had a secret service for Summer. Seems like a lot of things are done in plain sight, just with different meanings attached to them, in my opinion. That sheriff department has been being paid money under the table for years to look the other way while this drug ring operated there. And we're probably going to find out that it wasn't Hawkins County who found out about this drug ring that just got arrested in the last week. It's probably going to come, like most of the other ones, from an outside agency who pushed the button and then they had to act. I was late coming in. I must have missed where Don's talking about Rose, and he said they never found her either. Yeah, it was on up. I pray the TBI brings this case to a close soon and Summer is found. I do too. ELP 100. You ever watch the show Sons of Anarchy? Remember how the sheriff covered things up for them? Yes, ma'am, I do. AV Reliable Psychic says she feels strongly someone church there involved. That's exactly what this is. On my channel, I don't care. If you're not talking bad about a creator, you can put them in the chat because that's how I found other channels who talk about Summer. That's the only way we can learn because somebody might find a piece of information that we don't have. And then you'll go check it out and say, wow, this then fits with that. It's all working together. All those small towns are crooked as a snake. I lived in Uniqlo, 45 minutes away from there. I was told to stay away from there. Yep. I know. When I had to travel when my stepson was burned 95% of his body, I hated going through them little towns. Because we had him moved to Augusta, Georgia to Doctor's Hospital burn unit. And my nerves were wrecked because you know how them little towns are. There was a town called Two Egg. I don't know why, I just got the worst feeling every time I had to drive through there. This is like the Southern Holler version of Sons of Anarchy, minus the bikes. That's how we've gotten this far. You're right, Little Miss Sunshine. Everybody brings a piece of the puzzle to the table. Embedded confessions. We have a town here called Commoners, and it's a crooked little town. I remember going through one town years ago with my ex-husband, and his license was suspended. He didn't know it because the insurance company turned him in as not paying his bill, but we had changed insurance companies. And the cop said, oh, follow me to the station, go to the ATM, get me $1,000 out, and you'll be free to go. Never heard, paid him the $1,000, and we went on vacation. It was the damnedest thing. They all came for ELP because he focused on the church. Commerce City, the biker gang, Sons of Silence basically own the police department. Hello at Dallas County Scratching. How are you? I'm meaning the church where wreaths were laid. Strong feelings about land next to it. Privately owned. Would need search warrant. Yeah, that's a good point, YouTuber. Like Truckee. Yep. And you see the pictures they showed in the Lori Daybell case where they all had their fingers pointed in a circle. Same as in Truckee they did here in Kylie's memorial. These little towns and their secrets. They do whatever they want and get away with it. They're connected to the cartel and are the middleman between the cartel and the street gangs. Yeah, the cartel is heavy up there in Hawkins County, let me tell you. But we'll stay off that subject. And I tell you what, I rewatched the live stream. That was over a year ago from It's a Crime, and Chris M was her guest. It's worth another visit. Linda is great. I love Linda. She is. The Branch Davidian cult. In Unico, they'd pay snitches 100 to snitch, and it didn't matter if it's true or not. They would come arrest people. Crazy. I'm from Cincinnati area, and I've never seen anything like it. HCSO refuses to listen to psychics, so wouldn't get a search warrant. Yeah, and if you watch the Lori Vallow case and go back and listen to the reading Donna Serafina did 4 months prior, you will flip. Summer, you will be found, I promise. Justice for Summer. Summer's Army. Yep, at Be the Bean. Mule, both hills. Yep, they are. Future, yeah, and Ellen White was a psychic, yet they will not entertain psychics because they call her a prophet. They don't call her a psychic. But I said, what's the difference between a psychic and a prophet? One takes money. At least we have the same opinions. Donna recorded 4 months before the kids were found. Exactly as she said. Yeah, and how the hell would she know that there was going to be a white bag, a black garbage bag, the tape around his head, his hands, and his feet, and that Tylee was cut up and they took a bite out of her thigh? No way could she know that without spirit telling her. Oh, well, I'm happy somebody beside me sees it at Be the Bean. Lawson reminds me of a snake. Yep, the Vallow case. Helen and Reverend Donna saw Vallow case. Yep. At Whitney Leonard, Donna will blow your mind. She found the Vallows kids. I know, Ramona. I listened to her 4 months prior and said, oh, yeah, bullshit, bullshit. And then when the prelim came, I was like, oh, my God. Alicia, I've seen it since the first trip to Knoxville. Both men took. Yeah, but isn't that where Andy B and Dawn went right after? Hello, Selena. Good to see you. JJ's pajamas. Yep, she even knew what color they was. But people will say that because of that picture on the couch. They know that they know. I tagged TBI in a Twitter post saying that Donna Serafina is a great source in helping with crimes, and they should at least open their minds to her information. Well, I sent him one too and told him to go talk to the detective in the case and the FBI because they both talked to her. Ellen had dreams like visions. Absolutely. Love Reverend Donna. Yes, they went on separate occasions. Sloan Bella did great read too. I wish someone would stand on Don's neck for a bit until we get the info. I know, I feel like if somebody took my kid, all I would say is God help them. Anybody who I thought might have took my kid. I'm telling you, I would be in prison and people would be walking around with no toenails, probably no fingers. I mean, I could think of the worst ways to get somebody to talk, and I wouldn't care until I found what happened to my child. She has videos on her channel that you can see Spirit interacting with Donna, or in one with the balloon. I'll guarantee a biker gang is involved somewhere in this, the drug trafficking part, because they are always the middleman between the cartel and the street gang dealers. Yep, but you gotta be careful, because one guy just made the statement that he stole money from them, and nobody has seen that person since. More than one reliable psychic says that if Brandis was put under pressure by Ali, that she would crack. I believe that. I don't think they've interrogated them like they should have. No, he does ride with the bike gang. Never heard that. Thanks. I think it would work. Who was it early on in this case that lived at the holler that was interviewed by the news? He was a biker. Oh, what the hell is his name? I know who you were talking about. I think that's on Gigi's channel too. Could someone have taken them? They can buy them. It's really not in a biker style, but God only knows nowadays. I mean, had a Harley out in front of his house. It was a white house with a red brick. I disagree. I think Grandma Candy wouldn't say one word, just like with Rose. Oh, I bet if you could waterboard her or pull her toenails out one by one, you could probably get answers. Yes, it is some kind of organized crime. Did any of you get a chance to watch the new parts of the behavior panel interview with Dawn? I didn't find that. I looked for that after you said something. Bottom line, 3 people at least know what happened this summer. 100. And Amy, I have it. No, but if I find it, I will do a live with it. Do you know the date on it, Amy? I'll add you as a moderator, Amy. If you know exactly where that is, you can put the link. Grandma's the OG of this. She says, say nothing. Oh yeah, you know that woman is in deep with what happened. I believe it was Sullivan County and TBI who was involved in the recent drug bust activity. Oh yeah, I bet. Toenails, no. You know people be talking though. Alright, Amy's gonna bring us the link to that so we can all watch it. Sullivan was there assisting with the dogs. Well, you see the way they rattled old, what's her name? Boswell. They jerked her ass up just for interfering in an investigation with all her bullshit lies. Because Donna's in the same trafficking game. Yeah, the sad thing is that they're bad drug dealers, even at that, because they didn't have money. If they didn't have food for their children, you can't be a good drug dealer and be an addict. All right, here's the link, everybody. Amy just put it up. I'll try to pin it. And the timestamp for the new part is 2:35:40. You guys want me to go to it and play it? I can pull it up. That way, if I'm going to get struck, I'll get struck for both of them. Why won't it let me play? Let's go. Hold on, I have to go on my channel to click it. Give me 1 second, we'll play it. All right, I'm going to pull it up. Let me get through the commercials and then I'll switch over. Okay, let me go back to see the time. Can you give me the timestamp? 2:35:40. But start at 21. Let me mute myself. Close. Good.
Management, the more likely it is that this is probably a truthful plea for help video. That's all I'll say.
Yeah. Okay. We really are confused about everything that was going on at the moment. And it's just about bringing Sam home safe.
All right. We have a really interesting episode for you here. Greg.
All right, we're going to start it from here, but I'm going to have to mute every so often. So here we go. Let's listen to it and see what we hear.
And I had a chance to talk to Don Wells from an investigative point of view, and we did what's called a non-confrontational interrogation. So when that's going on, a lot of times you don't even realize that's what's happening, and that's what we got a chance to do. Mark?
Yeah, a little bit of context behind this. Don Wells came directly to Scott and asked for this interview. We didn't approach him. He approached us and specifically Scott around this. So trust had been built up through Wells watching our show. He earmarked Scott as the person he wanted to confide in. So that's how this all came about. Chase.
Yeah, so Greg and Scott were the only two of us that were able to make it up there for the interview. So we sat down, prepared for this in advance, and made sure the questioning was on point, and on the interrogation or interview, whatever you want to call it, maybe a tactical interview, was going to go really well. Greg?
Yeah, so what you're going to see here is not an interrogation like the police would do to get a confession, nor is this a TV interview. This is something very different. We want you to pay attention to it. We'd call it an investigative interview.
Right. All right. You guys ready?
All right, you guys ready? It's going to play for a minute because my puppy wants out, but I'm going to let it play. Here we go.
Ready?
Yeah. Yep.
Here we go.
What you're about to watch is an exploratory interview or a discovery interview. Scott and I went to talk to Don Wells with one purpose in mind. His stated purpose is well. That's to get as much information about Summer Wells out as possible. Again, this is not an interrogation. Interrogation means I have control over you. I can make you sit and do whatever I want you to do. This is an investigative or discovery interview. And if you watch, what we're going to do is we'll establish some rapport. We'll get the guy talking to us, and we'll get to a comfortable position where he talks. Now, what we're going to do here is show you the entire interview as it unfolded. What we're not going to do here is to analyze. We'll be back. We'll be back with future episodes where we analyze his baseline. We analyze any deviation from baseline, and we show you what we see and our opinions. And it will be.
Yeah, I didn't like that they didn't see it when they first did this, but they seen it with the West, but not with the Wells.
Be all four of us. So hang in there. We just wanted you to see this interview as it unfolded. We got water because I need it. I'm talking all week.
Oh man,
we do this usually at home, so we're not sitting in front of other people's cameras. I got some computer cameras sticking up in front of my face, so it's easier to do than sitting in front of this. Lights.
Yeah. So I know it's weird. So today went okay, you think, for the news people?
Who'd you talk to?
Channel 8.
Okay.
Yeah.
They've been the guys who've been there before.
Yeah.
The British sounding girl of South Africa.
No, they sent different ones. I've met her before.
Yeah, I remember she had a weird accent for Tennessee.
Yeah. I don't speak very well, of course.
Oh no,
you're fine.
We're Southern boys.
Yeah. So we're the
I'm
same
trying. I mean, I've been through a lot of trauma when I was younger, and so I've had a lot of problem dealing with that kind of stuff. Feeling less than human kind of thing most of my life.
Of course, all about poor Don. Nothing about poor Summer.
Yeah.
And Don, I think the piece that you want people to get is that you want people to know who you are, because the way we talk is, I always say, you'll hear me say, we are what we come from and what's made us successful to now. So tell us a little bit about you.
Well, I mean, a little bit about me.
Yeah.
I was pretty much raised up in the county jails and prisons and stuff like that. That's where I found God, and I feel like He raised me. It's hard to believe you find love in a place like that, but I did, and people that had respect, and I found brotherhood, and people that very few, but there was a few that would want to read scriptures and do the same kind of thing, and tried to get away from this kind of life and go to a godly kind of life. But there are a few, very few though.
Right.
Let's make sure that we tell the world that he's a godly man now. So they look at him from a godly point of view.
It's tough. It's really hard. And when you can find that, it changes everything.
Yes.
Forever.
Changing my life.
Forever.
For sure.
Yeah. So how long ago was that?
Well, it's been a long time since I've, been in trouble. But I've seeked out, churches and stuff, that like the Seventh-day Adventist,
I know I've heard you say you lived in Utah, and there's a different animal out there.
Yes.
Yep, he seeked out them churches so much. But I think he found them behind bars in prison. Everybody finds God in prison. It's when they get out. They don't know where God is.
Yes.
So did you deal with the Zion curtain and all that?
Oh, man. Yeah, if you're a Mormon out there, you're fine.
Right.
But if you're anti-Mormon, the Board of Pardons in Utah is almost all Mormon.
So if you're in jail there, you're a Mormon.
Yeah, the Board of Pardons and Parole.
Yeah. Well, and I think just living there. But where'd you live?
Ogden, Roy area.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool.
Pretty area.
Yeah, it's beautiful. I love it, and I miss it.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, what I think is good is to talk a little bit about your background, and I don't mean jail time, but talk about where you lived and where you were, and because that gives people your speech patterns, what's made you you, and all that.
That gives everybody a base to see if he's lying or telling the truth. So they get a little baseline there.
Kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Always had really good jobs out there and stuff. But you know, for whatever reason, my parole officers, they never liked me. I had a job at Hill Air Force Base at one time, making really good money, had security clearance out there and everything. And they showed up out there 2 carloads deep. And my boss come to me, he's like, I can't use you no more, man. And they got me fired. And that's the kind of, that's what they, yeah.
What were you doing then?
I was doing construction.
So were you working for a general contractor?
Yeah.
I've been in construction business. Reason I asked. I ran construction for a couple of years. So
Just we're doing drywall, what I've always done. You know, metal stud framing or whatever.
How long ago was that?
That was a long time ago. When I finally got out of that mess, I left the state as fast as I could.
Right.
I haven't been back.
Where'd you go from there?
I went to.
He left the state as fast as he could because the local law enforcement probably didn't buy his bullshit. So he had to get out of there and go aggravate the hell out of his mother.
I think I went to Arkansas. That's where I met my wife. And then my mom got sick, so we come out here. And,
Your mom lived here?
Yeah, she was sick, had MRSA. And so we come out here to try to help her, and she, died. And so, but she left us the property, but we've had, 4 kids since then.
Yeah. How old's your oldest?
12.
And Summer's your youngest?
Yes.
Do you have your kids back? I know you went through some trouble with that.
Well, it got real dangerous at our house because of, and I'm not using that for an excuse, but it did. It got real dangerous because of everything that was happening on YouTube. And
It was real dangerous at his house. But then he said that CPS stole the kids, kidnapped them too.
and the psychics wanting to come on our property.
Yeah.
And we was telling them, no, you cannot come on our property.
How are they contacting you?
Through Facebook and stuff like that, whatever, and other people. The whole YouTube, Facebook thing was the craziest thing I've ever seen in my life. And people were trying all different kind of things. And then I found out, they were making all kinds of fake accounts and contacting people in Utah, and they were saying stuff back and forth. Probably a lot of stuff wasn't exactly true, or just making this whole thing keep going and going and going. So it got pretty bad and scary for a long time.
That's tough. That's
quite
tough.
a
People
while.
you don't know showing up.
And there was some.
It's dangerous, actually. On
Yeah, it was dangerous, and I didn't want my boys there.
Yeah.
It was dangerous for the boys, and he didn't want them there. But then a year later, he's bitching that they stole his kids. Just makes no sense why the story keeps changing with Don.
You don't know who's coming up.
Right.
I live in the middle of nowhere for a reason.
Yeah.
How old are the boys?
Huh?
How old are the boys?
12, maybe 10, on down to 8, I think.
Okay. And they're all, is Candace the mother?
Well, there's a gag order on the boys. I'm not supposed to talk about them.
Okay.
They're in custody.
Okay.
Yeah. Hopefully they're okay, and you get to see them.
They're fine.
Yeah, so you can
I mean, I ain't gonna lie to you. I went off the deep end. did.
you? Oh, I can totally understand.
I started drinking and other stuff and just lost it.
Well, I think it's a hard thing to deal
really
with. You know how I feel.
But I'm back on track. I mean, no drinking, no nothing.
Did you get a prescription or anything for some help to keep calm? And
no.
Yeah.
He acts like he just started partying the day Summer went missing and drinking. But up to that moment, he was a godly man. Don't let nobody kid you about that.
No.
Okay. All right.
Nobody can make you feel better about what's going on, but
Right.
we want to make sure that you get whatever you want to say out today too. And I know people have asked you your whole stories and everything else. How long you live where you're at now?
About 12 years.
Okay. So most of your kids were born here?
Well, Josie was born in Arkansas, and then we moved directly here.
Okay. So the rest of the kids are born here?
Yeah.
So that's their home. That's what they know.
Yeah.
That's got to be tough on some level for them to go to.
Yeah.
So, and I have no idea about your house or how it's set up or anything else. How do you get to your house?
How do you get to my house?
Yeah, I mean, I don't mean that from here. Don't give me directions. But I mean, you're up a road somewhere. I know.
Yeah. I don't understand what you.
Yeah. So, are you isolated? You can't really tell about the pictures.
It seems isolated, but we do have neighbors, and then you got the drug thing going on, and where we live at, you got certain groups of people, and I'm not going to mention them by name, but you got these boys and those boys. They're all related, and they think that they run everything, and a lot of people.
Says they think they run everything, but we've all seen they run everything, them boys and those boys. Why? Because they're all related somehow, by marriage or by blood.
People for years have run moonshine out there, probably manufactured meth and other stuff like that, and they think that they are the Bloods and the Crips of the hillbillies.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we have where I live. There's something very similar called the cornbread mafia.
Yeah, that runs from here to through Georgia.
Yep,
yeah,
Georgia.
Yeah,
cornbread mafia.
And they take that name and that title very seriously.
Yep. So, have you had problems with them personally?
Well, we've always tried to stay away from that kind of activity and stuff, and stay in church and stuff like that, and stay positive. So I always felt like they looked at us as a target. And we've had people steal our dogs and leave their mutts for as long as we've been there. We've had people come up and just take various things, steal our gas in the middle of the night or whatever. And there's only certain kind of people that are up all day and night, stuff like that.
Yeah.
And
how close to you are they?
I say they're all the way around, but I don't know. I mean, I just know a few people.
It's funny how him and JSB, they didn't know each other that well. But then it comes out that they were selling drugs on the hill so somebody could touch the kids. He knows every damn person in that holler, probably in that whole town of Beach Creek. But here, he don't know nobody. It's funny how that works, ain't it?
Personally, but
is it easy to just drive by your house, come by?
Well, they have to go by my house to get to one area.
Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of traffic out there.
Yes. When things are, when stuff's going on, there's a lot of traffic.
Yeah. How close is the house to the road?
Our house?
Yeah.
We are Ben Hill's just down the driveway there, and then Beach Creek's out in front, but you'd have to go across the creek to get.
Do you think that from your door to the road is 100 feet, or is it 50 feet, or
150 feet?
I bet you're pretty good at guessing distance when you're doing drywall.
Yeah, no kidding.
Well, I mean, we can see all from if you go to our front door, our back door, or whatever it is, we can see all the way down Beach Creek one end, and you can go to the other side of the house, you can see all the way down Beach Creek the other way, because we're on a hill.
Right. So can you see cars coming and going?
Oh yeah, yeah.
And can they see up there easily, or is it?
Yeah.
So if you're coming up the hill, how long before you can see your house? Is it hidden from other people, or is it?
You mean our driveway?
Yeah, your driveway.
Yeah, well, there's a lot of trees and shrubs and stuff like that, but in the wintertime when all the leaves fall, you can see pretty clearly.
Yeah, but we all know she did not disappear in the wintertime. Or at least that's not what you reported. She disappeared when the shrubs were all nice and green and nobody could see up that hill, remember? Bye, Sky Blue Moon.
But right now it's secluded, more secluded. But
have you ever had any scares before? I mean, around your kids and that kind of.
Well, we've had people come up, and say, "Oh, yeah, I was looking for my dog or my horse, or or various things before."
With the children in the yard, or during that.
Yeah, I've had people come up, on horses, all kinds of things, And
When was the last time that happened?
You know what? Since summer's been gone, we haven't had nobody around there except for. I mean, we had that one incident with the red truck that got hung up on the ditch there. There was actually, I asked the police if I could take pictures. He said, "No problem, Mr. Wells." And I was taking pictures of the side of that truck, and some woman popped her head out, and I was like, wow. And she just covered herself back up and laid back on her.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So when was the last time before?
So anybody know that red truck, was it the morning that Summer disappeared? Because he said that over and over on shares. He said it a few times in the last few months that it was the morning that Summer disappeared, that he took the pictures. So can anybody tell me, was it that morning that red truck got hung up there? Or was it another day? Because if it was that morning, he took pictures and he was in that white truck, not the car that morning. Mods our community, I hope you are all doing well today. I have not seen these interviews before. Hi, 6 Cent. Truthfinder says it was another day. Okay, we'll continue.
Summer was missing, that you had people up at your place, that somebody showed up, you know what I mean?
I'm not sure. It's probably been a long time, so I can't really remember. But I'm always gone. I'm always working, and I don't know these people. But I mean,
does Candace know them?
No. I mean, all I know is the people I work for, and they've become like they're the only ones I know.
So is Candace there all day with the kids?
Well, if they weren't in school, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, when we started getting involved in the Seventh-day Adventist, Robin and stuff would invite them to go do this and that.
Who's Robin?
She's the one that would hold summer in church all the time.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
So they was always.
He didn't know anybody around there except where he worked at. No Fred Hill, no Frank Light, no Jody Sue, no Andy Bernard, no Haskell, no Hammonds, no Hoss. None of them RSOs that lived up there. He knew none of them. He sure knew drugs were being sold down that road, but he didn't associate with them kind of people. Just church people. Robin, she don't do no drugs. Her husband just got so pissed off for her being up there for no reason, I guess.
Just going and doing things with the church whenever possible.
Yeah, other people from the church come over and help.
Yeah, David's been over a few times, our pastor, and David Dotson's been over a couple times.
Does Dave ever babysit or anything? Is he
No,
he just
nothing like that.
No.
Well, we let him take the boys to the putt-putt golf course when all this first happened.
Yeah.
You know, just
That's
to try to help us out and stuff.
How long have you known him?
Well, he come from another church, and he just kind of popped in and got to know Summer a little bit before she got gone, and and then he met some girl at some Baptist church.
He got to know Summer before she got gone. And just like he said, he had never been to their house before the day Summer went missing. But Summer had went off with Candace and the flute player and Robin knew him for a while. They didn't just meet. It wasn't church where they all met.
Church and started going, I guess, to church with them.
So he would come over and hang out with her and play with her and stuff?
Well, no, not until after she disappeared.
Oh, so she didn't know him very well before that?
Well, she met him a few times. Summer did, and Candace did. And they got to know Robin and everything.
But mostly at church?
Yeah.
Was there a daycare thing at church?
No. I mean, no, not a daycare. No. No, but they do have their own private school.
Did your kids go to that private school?
No, we was trying to get them into it. Yeah.
They go to public school?
No, it's a private school.
Okay, they're going to private.
Yes, sir. Yeah, they do go to public school.
Okay, yeah, and you were just trying to get them into that private school.
Right.
And is there a waiting list or something?
No, it's,
just
about money.
Oh yeah, no, I get it.
Yeah.
I get it. I was a soldier. There ain't no money in being a soldier.
Yeah.
I get it.
But they teach them a lot of good Christian ethics and stuff like that.
A lot of Sunday school. How long was the church? How long was the Sunday school part? Did the kids go to Sunday school?
Yeah, no, Saturday.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. So what do y'all call that?
SDA.
No, he was trying to get his kids in that private school. Were they taking in trade or something? Because he said he can't afford it. No, I believe that too. No way in hell is Candace and Robin besties. Unless they're co-conspirators now, Helen. We know that they will be best buddies if they're covering each other's ass. I just got a funny feeling about old Robin. He was going to pack a lunch and be out all night. Something just don't ring right with her. Oh, really? I didn't know that. Is that why he got fired from Dontar Park right after Summer went missing? Oh, after she got gone. Seems like a lot of them were getting busted for selling drugs.
Yeah. What do you call it? So it'd be Saturday school?
Yes, sir.
Do they really?
Well, we would go every Saturday to church.
So they call it Saturday school? Or is it just church school?
Well, yeah. They always say Happy Sabbath, because that's the Sabbath day.
Yeah.
Well, how long does the Saturday school last for the kids?
We'd be there at 9:30. Well, we got our first class. It runs about an hour and a half, and then we go to the big room together.
And the kids are separated from everybody?
Yeah, at the first class, and then we all join together in the big room. And
so they have different. I guess you got different teachers.
Yeah, like Robin and other ones that teach the younger ones, and there's a lot of kids there. They're extremely happy.
Yeah. How many classes?
Now, why would he say there's a lot of kids there that were extremely happy? Not just there was a lot of kids there. Now it makes me wonder if other kids are just totally devastated and wanting the hell out of that church.
Are there, do you think?
Well, you got your younger kids, and then you got your, I'd say there's about 3 or 4 different classes and age groups.
Are all the girls and boys that are at Summer's age are in the same class?
Yes.
Who teaches that class? Do they have a
I can't remember her name. I know Robin. I think maybe Robin teaches the youngest ones.
Yeah.
And
So
then,
she was her teacher.
I think so. Yeah, and that's why she was so proud, to give Robin that little yellow necklace and the bracelet, and so proud.
And Dave was the preacher at that time.
Yeah.
Yeah. And did he ever teach him or anything? Did he ever do
David?
Yeah.
Our pastor?
Yeah. He's talking about David.
Okay, you got David Dawson, and you got David, our pastor.
David, the pastor, yeah.
The pastor.
Yeah.
He teaches the adults, like I would go to his class, and my wife, the older ones, and he's got an awesome class. Love it. Absolutely love it.
But never kids, you never work with the youth group or anything?
Not the pastor. I don't know what he teaches in their school. I'm not familiar with that too much. I've been there, but I don't know.
He loves it. He just loves it. He loves it so much that he don't go anymore. Because, he works all the time. So he can't go see God. He has to work.
Yeah.
All right.
So who else did you guys interact with aside from the church? I mean, I know you were not home much, and I will talk to you a little bit about that. But it's tough.
Really nobody, because drywall takes up pretty much all my time.
Sure. Yeah. And you drive a fair amount?
Yeah, up to work, yes.
Okay. How far away do you work from?
Well, it depends. I might do a house in West Virginia somewhere.
Oh, I gotcha.
Or it might be anywhere. My next house is coming up beyond, and Boone's Creek up here.
When the incident with Summer happened, when Summer disappeared, where were you working then?
Let's see. I was in Jonesboro.
Okay.
Yeah.
Jonesboro, which?
Yeah, Jonesboro.
Tennessee?
Yeah.
Okay, because I don't know this area very well.
Yeah.
How far away is that from home?
Well, it takes 45 minutes to get from there to my house.
Okay.
He was in Jonesboro. He has 7 alibis and Candace has none. Because thank God for old Starlink. You can park Starlink at the job site and take another vehicle if you really wanted to. But let's not talk about that.
And up 81 all the way, and that's where I was working. And previous to the day someone come up missing, I fired a guy because he was extremely out there.
And what was he doing?
Yeah,
he was just out there.
What kind of out there? I know you got to be careful.
I think meth.
Okay.
I can't prove it.
Did he take that well?
No, he was extremely mad.
Did he know where you lived?
Yes.
And have you heard from or seen him since?
No. Our investigators have talked to him, and he's talked, I guess pretty well. But I mean, the day after Summer had come up missing, he called my boss and he was crying and saying some really oddball things.
Well, Dawn, you don't have to say Dudley was allegedly doing drugs now. There's a paper trail. So once he's convicted, you can say it out loud and proud.
So, my boss has a really good memory, so he remembered every word of it. And,
what was he saying?
Like my kids, let's see, The hills have eyes. I got too close to that family. What was the others? I got too close, and my kids can't see me in the back of a police car again. See, he worked for us 7 years prior, and he went through all the different crews. And he worked with me for a while, and it's kind of the same thing happened.
How old is he?
He's like 36 now, I'd say, something more than that.
You don't know where he is, huh?
Yeah, I know where he is.
Had he's been to your house with you?
Well, yeah, I had him come to my house and park his vehicle so that we could ride together all the way out past Chucky, way out there somewhere, past the airport, way out there in the farmlands.
I know where that is.
Way out there, yeah. So we rode together way out there and done a little house and rode back. But, I just noticed he started getting irritated and just every little thing. This man, I give him 50%. Who does that?
Right.
Give him
Gave him 50%. Or did Dudley work for 50%? And were they doing drugs together? Usually that's what happens. They gotta have somebody who's doing with them. I never thought Don was lying about that, but I know he was lying about having to learn about on YouTube. 6. RL does mission work in Mexico. Yeah, I wonder how many of the church members there at the SDA go to the Middle East. Because we know the flute player goes there and is hobnobbed with the higher ups. But I wonder how many others have went there to do spiritual work, missionary stuff.
50%, and all he has to do is show up every day. And he starts, coming up with excuses why he can't make it to work and stuff, and giving me trouble. And then the day I fired him, he was, doing a pan like that there, okay? And he spent probably 2 hours on it. Well, it should have took 20 minutes to coat that with mud, first coat. And we were supposed to do something else, and he just jumped on that, and he was speaking under his breath and just carrying on. And then he comes to me with a pan of mud, and he says, "There's all kind of trash in there. Get it out of there and give me some different mud." So I was like, "Lord, okay." I threw it away and got him some fresh mud, and he come back at me again. He's like screaming at me, "I told you, did you put it back in there or what?" And
You're familiar with that kind of behavior for somebody on drugs like that? Did it seem like that was kind of
Well, I looked on YouTube of all the behavior that somebody on meth would have.
Good morning, Little Wing. It's funny, a drug addict who does the same kind of drugs, allegedly, has to look on YouTube to see what it does. You can't just look in the mirror. You can't just look at your neighbor. I don't get that part.
Only one I can remember is hyperactive.
Sure.
But but he was screaming at me, "Just go home. I'll take care of this job. I got this job. I'll handle it by myself," or whatever. And I thought about that, and I went to lunch. And I come back, and I told him to leave, get off the job. Don't want to work with you one more second. And he didn't like that too well. And then he called my boss with what I was telling you, what he was saying and stuff, and called him probably 100 times. Tried everything in the world to get me fired. Told him all kinds of things. And I told Jesse, told my boss, I said, "See, that's how it is every day."
Yeah.
You guys put a 1 in the chat if you think he fired Dudley so Dudley wouldn't know what was going to happen or be able to verify whether Don was there the next day. Put a 2 in the chat if you think it's the reason he's given.
So, how many times had he seen Summer before?
A few times, and my wife was concerned about the way he was looking at her. She had red flags about that.
What did she say?
She said that he was just kind of looking her up and down, like, it bothered her.
Mm-hmm.
Now, she mentioned that to me before all this happened. So the very next day, she comes up missing around 6:30.
So when did you leave your house?
When did I leave my house
Yeah.
that morning? I'm not sure. It might have been about 7:30, 8 even.
Okay.
I'm not sure.
And
Okay, he just said she was missing at 6:30. But the call to 911 went out at 6:27. And they said she had been missing 10 minutes prior to that. I don't buy that.
I'm going to ask you a few questions.
Okay,
Like I said,
yeah.
I need you to. I know they might be pushy and painful at times, so just
Well, I
take it for what
understand.
they are. When was the last time you saw Summer?
That morning when I woke up, because she was sleeping in between me and her mother.
Okay. Did she wake
And
up?
I was kind of laying on her foot a little bit and stuff, and I was like, oh, my back.
Yeah. Did she wake up?
Did she wake up? No.
Okay.
No.
I was wondering what she said to you. Last thing she said. What are the last words she ever said to you? Do you remember?
I'm not sure if it was that night or not, but I remember, clearly, I was like, Summer, you got to sleep in your own bed. And then she come back with big old crocodile tears in her eyes, and she said, but Daddy, I want to be with you.
Painful. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
That's tough.
Oh, damn it, I can't believe Summer didn't jump right up. And how don't you know what the last thing the day your daughter went missing said to you? You don't know if it was that day or not. Red flag, red flag.
Yeah, that's a lot. That's a lot. I know. But they can't sleep with you forever.
Huh.
They can't sleep with you forever. You
No.
grow up
And that's
somewhere.
how kids grow up, is by you doing that. So you didn't do anything wrong.
No.
And we want you to know that.
Well, it's interesting. The other day, all this stuff going on, when it was so bad, everything on YouTube was so bad, I was begging God. I was like, Lord, and I was on my knees. I was just at the end of my ropes, and I said, God, I just want to be with you. And that thought came to my head just like that of what Summer, and I just started crying.
Yeah, it's tough. It's tough. And not knowing is tough, I'm sure. I can tell you from experience, I feel where you feel.
Appreciate it.
Yeah.
I'm sorry for you.
Well, God's in full control.
What did Candace say about that morning?
Boy, them tears were short-lived. Just wish I could be right in his mind at the moment, what he was just thinking. But let's see what Candace thought.
What was she doing?
I hadn't really heard from her except for she had to go to town to fill her mom's prescription. And so I called at some point because I was going to go home. And she says, well, we're still got to wait for the prescription. And
what was she getting?
Something for her mother. I can't remember.
Well, you don't know what the prescription was?
I can't remember. But so they was at the lake, and then Hunter and I guess they went, she called and says, come by the house, and Then she begged to take Hunter to the lake with them so they could swim a little bit.
Yeah.
Seen them videos, and then I took her back, and they said everything was okay in that situation between now.
Yeah.
Which situation?
Sir.
Which situation? Sorry.
With Hunter, Allie, and Candace. I took Hunter to the lake. Everything
Right.
seemed to be
Yeah, I saw the little
okay.
video of them playing in the water.
Well, he's shaking his head no. Everything was A-okay with them as he shakes his head no. Which we already knew that Allie and her weren't speaking for their own testimonies over the Jose thing, allegedly. But I find it funny that Allie's mama got child neglect charges and the kids taken out of her home. Let's say allegedly. But I think it's recorded. We look up her mugshot.
Yeah, everything was fine.
And then what happened? I mean,
well, when Summer, when they went back home and everything, and then, now I wasn't there, of course.
Right.
But according to my wife's story, which I believe.
Yeah, you ever had a reason to not believe
No, and with her emotions, she's this close to going off the edge. It's bad.
I'm sure
it's bad.
It's hard.
And so there's no way in my mind, I believe her.
So, and you said you were talking about Hunter?
Hunter and Allie and all them had a good great relationship up to everything was fine.
And then
everybody's happy. And then so she goes home, she eats the groceries out, and with her story, washes her.
Oh, with her story. I can't believe I just heard him say that. With her story. We're going to back it up 5 seconds and hear that again.
Her hands off and everything. Summer wants to go in the house, and the boys are in there video gaming, of course.
How far away is Candace from the house?
About 25 feet. Her trailer. Now, she mentioned that to me before all this happened. So the very next day, she comes up missing around 6:30.
So when did you leave your house?
When did I leave my house that morning? I'm not sure. It might have been about 7:30, 8 even.
Okay.
I'm not sure.
And this, I'm going to ask you a few questions.
Okay,
Like I said, I need you to, I know they might be pushy and painful at times, so just take it for what they are. When was the last time you saw Summer?
That morning when I woke up, because she was sleeping in between me and her mother.
Okay. Did she wake
and
up?
I was kind of laying on her foot a little bit and stuff, and I was like, my back.
Yeah. Did she wake up?
Did she wake up? No.
Okay.
No.
I was wondering what she said to you, last thing she said. What are the last words she ever said to you? You remember?
I'm not sure if it was that night or not, but I remember, clearly, I was like, Summer, you got to sleep in your own bed. And then she come back with big old crocodile tears in her eyes, and she said, but Daddy, I want to be with you.
But they can't sleep with you for.
That's how kids grow up, is by you doing that. So
The other day, all this stuff going on, when it was so bad, everything on YouTube was so bad, I was begging God. I was like, Lord, and I was on my knees. I was just at the end of my ropes, and I said,
Sorry, I went too far back. No, I guess he said he left first. But I'll be doing some research, be the bean. Why was age on probation, yet strict conditions for a minor not allowed to leave the state, no access to social media without permission, scheduled probation visits. We're still in that car with the kid in it. And that's not allegedly, that's a fact.
So God, I just want to be with you. And that thought came to my head just like that of what Summer, and I just started crying.
Yeah, it's tough. It's tough. And not knowing is tough, I'm sure. I can tell you from experience, I feel where you feel.
Appreciate it.
Yeah.
I'm sorry for you.
Well, I mean, God's in full control.
What did Candace say about that morning? What was she doing?
You know, I hadn't really heard from her except for she had to go to town to fill her mom's prescription. And so I called at some point because I was going to go home, and she says, well, we're still got to wait for the prescription. And
what was she getting?
Like something for her mother. I can't remember.
Well, you don't know what the prescription was?
I can't remember. But so they was at the lake, and then Hunter and his, I guess they went, she called and says, come by the house, you know, and then she begged to take Hunter to the lake with them so they could swim a little bit. And seen them videos, and then I took her back, and they said everything was okay in that situation between now.
Yeah. Which situation?
Sir.
Which situation? Sorry.
With Hunter, Allie, and Candace. I took Hunter to the lake. Everything seemed to be
I saw the little video of them playing in the water.
Yeah, everything was fine.
Yeah.
And then what happened? I mean,
well, when Summer, you know, when they went back home and everything, and then, you know, now I wasn't there, of course.
Right.
But according to my wife's story, which I believe.
Yeah. You ever had a reason to not believe it?
No. Okay. And with her.
According to his wife's story, which he believes. And them were the fastest drying up of tears I've ever seen in my life.
Emotions, she's this close to going off the edge. It's bad.
I'm sure
it's bad.
It's hard.
And so there's no way in my mind, I believe her.
So, and you said you were talking about Hunter?
Hunter and Allie and all of them had a good great relationship up to, everything was fine.
Yeah. And then?
Everybody's happy, you know, and then so she goes home, she eats the groceries out, and with her story, you know, washes a load of clothes and everything, and they plant the flowers, and you know, she gets a piece of candy from her mother or whatever, and they wash their hands. I guess they had some water on the tailgate of the truck. They have a gallon of water there, and they rinse their hands off and everything. Summer wants to go in the house, and she go, and the boys are in there, video game, and of course.
How far away is Candace from the house?
About 25 feet. Her trailer's about 25 feet from her trailer to our door.
Mm-hmm.
You know.
What's the trailer about?
What's that, sir?
What's in the trailer?
What's in the trailer?
Mm-hmm.
Well, grandma and all her.
It's a travel trailer?
Travel trailer.
Okay.
All her stuff, you know.
So.
I remember when they asked him some certain hard questions, he'd say, what's that? What's that? I think that's so he could think of what he was going to say. And Be the Bean, that's a good question why they went past that Walgreens. I'm wondering why all them stops that day, but still don't account for 6 hours. If they left at 8 in the morning and they got back at 2:30 or 3 o'clock to their house, dropping Grandma off, picking up Hunter, going back to pick Grandma up, going to the Walgreens, drop the prescription off, go to the horse pond, and 35 minutes later go back to the Walgreens, and then to the smoke shop, and then to the grocery store. I just don't see 6 hours there. Do you guys?
The boys are playing
Thursday.
Sure.
So the boys are playing with the game.
Right. They're upstairs playing the game. And, you know, and my one son told me, you know, that Summer wanted him to go down and play with toys with her. And he's like, no, Summer, I'm playing this game. I'm not going down there. So she goes down there by herself. As far as we know, I mean, that's the last she was seen was by her boys.
So she went down there, and there's 2 ways into that room, right? Down the stairs,
right,
or a back door.
Right.
How tall is the back door knob off? I mean, you probably
Well, she could open it, no problem, I'm sure. But the boys would always leave that door open all the time, and we'd tell them, you got to keep that door locked. But they would leave it wide open all the time. We'd go down there, and the door would be wide open.
Just don't like when he constantly shakes his head that they leave the door wide open. Or Allie and Candace were just fine, and he shakes his head no. But when he was telling the truth about doing drywall and what he does for his job, he shook his head yes the whole time. That's something I learned when I went to college for Homeland Security. A lot of telltale signs here, Donnie boy.
Oh, they're unlocked.
That's common.
Yeah. And,
What's right outside the door there?
What's outside the door?
Yeah.
The driveway that goes by, you know, the small piece of, well, you know, small porch, and then the driveway that circles around, and then you can see that generator right there, and that dog trail that I wasn't aware that dog trail was even there, but it goes straight down to I could pick up a 40-pound sack of potatoes and go down that trail probably in about 12 seconds.
He knew damn well that dog trail was there and the other trails. He ain't gonna convince none of us in this chat that he didn't know there was a damn dog trail on his property that he drives by every day and sees the path going up to his house. No way does he not know that. He can tell that shit to somebody else, but we ain't the ones. We ain't the ones, Don.
Okay,
so all the way to Ben Hill Road.
Could somebody drive around the house and you not hear him or see him? Or
it happens all the time.
They could drive around that back door there.
I've went and drove all the way to the top and honked the horn, and nobody can hear me. You know, like, come and help me get groceries.
Yeah. Okay. So what about this dog trail?
Yeah. I mean, TBI. Well, can we back up to?
Yeah, back up to where.
Back up to.
For you.
At some point, Allie and Hunter and then find out that Summer's gone. They completely flip on us, on Candace.
Wow, they didn't just find out. Your wife called Hunter before she went to the sheriff's station to take the first lie detector that she couldn't take because y'all were intoxicated. And yeah, I don't like that, putting these boys, your own boys, in the mix. But for you doing that, God help your soul if them boys know what happened to their sister, because they're going to be the ones who bury you in the end.
You know, and I don't understand that, and start making all these crazy accusations and everything else, and all this. You know, I can't remember everything that they actually said.
What were they?
Did you talk to them directly?
No, they won't talk to me. They won't talk to Candace.
What were the ideas? I mean, what was the concept of what they were saying? What were they saying? She did something, or?
You know, I really can't remember. All I know is they really turned on Candace big time and flipped on her.
Right then.
Right at that point, Yes.
Had they had any reason in the past to have, I mean, people who live close to each other sometimes get it on each other's nerves. Did that happen at any point?
We never lived close to each other. We just invited them out for their kids' sake because their kids don't have a father.
Wow, they really turned on each other all of a sudden. So they must have been buddies up to this day. Whatever happened this summer that day, they wanted to all separate themselves from one another. At that moment, whatever it was, they decided to separate themselves and turn the tables where it looks good for their part. It's a wonder Allie didn't find Jesus.
And they're troubled kids. They live in the city. They can't get out and play like they could there or anything else. And we don't understand why Allie and Hunter flipped like they did at all.
But what did Candace say they said when they flipped? Was it?
I wish I could remember, and I wish she was here, and I wish I could answer them questions. They're all on YouTube, and I can't remember what all it is because they made all kind of videos. I know they was in the parade. Our church made a banner for Candace, and it was in the parade, and they was walking down there, and Allie and Hunter was in there going, ha ha, they got your daughter, ha ha.
Who got your daughter?
That's a good question. Who's they? Who was they?
Yeah.
Yeah, they got your.
Who is they, Dawn? Who is they? Your wife knows who they are. I believe Allie knows who they are. The flute player, the church lady. People know. And God have mercy if them boys know. Because they will tell. Because remember, them boys are living high on the hog. Something every parent would love for their child to be doing if they couldn't provide it. But with you, there's something wrong because your boys are living high on the hog. They might like that lifestyle. Is that what you're afraid of?
Your daughter, who was they? It's a really good question.
How old are they? Are they?
Hunter's just like 14, and he's always come up and given me hugs, and always been really, and
has he been that way with Candace as well?
Yeah, and always was everything just seemed fine up to this point.
What about Allie? Same thing?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And who's Allie?
That would be Hunter's mother, I think. And there's Sherry, and we just don't know why they flipped suddenly like they did. And I can't remember all the hateful things they said. I just don't remember, but I know it was bad.
Mm-hmm.
And, when someone loses their kid and then for them to say a bunch of hateful stuff like that on top of it, it's just like, I couldn't believe it.
Yeah. Yeah, that's I know that's
I don't understand why that happened.
And it began immediately.
Yes. And then
where were they when that happened? When
Wow, that's kind of telling. It just happened all of a sudden. All in one day. Your best friend now becomes your enemy. Flipped in a blink of an eye. Because nothing happened this summer. Or was it that they drug H into something? Because remember, in the JLR interview, Graham Bunn said, before summer died, those kids came here in the summer before summer died. Her words, not mine.
When I guess they was at their house, but we know we give Trudy, one of their daughters, a dog, a puppy.
Mm-hmm.
And next thing we knew, it ended up back up there.
Oh,
So they brought it back up and dropped it off.
Right.
Afterwards.
Yes, after it got grown and they didn't want it no more.
Oh, so this is after.
That's before summer.
Before summer went missing,
Okay.
yes.
Okay. Okay. I got you.
So you drove from, I'm just trying to get my head around
Right.
what kind of gap you have in time between the time you saw her and the time you got back.
I probably made it home in half the time it normally would because I almost lost it in one curve. And I was able to pass and double yellow line all the way without hindrance of any kind. I was able to fly and didn't get stopped one time, or didn't have to slow down not once. So I know I made it in probably at least 25 minutes.
Were the cops there when you got there?
I think there might have been one or two cars, if I can remember right. But when I first come to the house, I knew they was looking all over the top of the hill.
Mm-hmm.
So I drove straight to the bottom property and down to the creek.
Mm-hmm.
And I noticed my neighbor walking this way around the hill, and I seen my three boys together on this side of the hill, and my heart just sunk right then. I knew she was gone. I knew it.
Yeah.
I knew she was gone. Because I knew, and it's 25 minutes later, and nobody's found her.
He knew when he got there she was gone. 25 minutes later, and she was still gone. As he shakes his head now. And he looks them in the eye to see if they believe him. No more tears for that missing baby. Who, if you really believed, was out in them woods. You wouldn't be doing an interview, you'd be out there searching, screaming. He would have to drag me back home if it was mine. Because I couldn't stop till I found mine. And if I lived there in Tennessee, I'd have been helping you look for yours. I'm sure there's a lot of people up there. You would organize a search. I'm sure a lot of us on here would come and still help you search for.
Gone. So I turned around, went back up to the top, and I think there was one or two cop cars there, if I remember right. And they started asking all kinds of questions. I kept trying to tell them she's gone, she's not here. And just like I don't know. And then more cops kept filtering in. And then we had all kind of people with trailers and stuff and SUVs, and they literally blocked Beach Creek, bottlenecked Beach Creek, Ben Hill Road. You couldn't go nowhere.
How much time had passed from the time you got the call till that happened?
From when I first got home, and then I'm talking to the cops up there, and then, another 20, 30 minutes, and everything just starts getting bottlenecked. You can't even leave there.
When did you see Candace after all? What was the first time you saw Candace after you got this news?
When I first pulled up there, she was freaking out. And
She was freaking out so bad that she was FaceTiming with Allie and Leslie and telling them she wasn't going out to talk to the cops. I'm sure they made her talk to them. But there's something that these cops know that we don't. And just like I tried to tell people, I got the clip Candace saying that there was a video and then there was a still picture. And I'm telling you guys, zoom in through the window of that still picture. They're in somebody's yard. Marlena is in the background. There's a white car in the background. That picture was taken at a different location in that video. And there's also a reason law enforcement hasn't referenced the milk jug video or the picture in any of their newscasts that they did to update us.
Yelling, screaming.
Really kind of funny. I look back on that. I had her on. Messenger the whole time. Never lost her. That's really odd to me. Because in that area.
What do you think caused that?
That's a good question, because I don't know how I could have kept her on Messenger, because she got in her mother's truck, drove all around and asking people, because I watched her. And she was driving her mom's truck. I had her on Messenger. And she was driving all in the area, looking everywhere for her in her mother's truck. And I don't think I lost her the whole time, all the way.
What was the first thing she said to you in person, though?
Did he just say I watched her? Is that what he said? He watched her? Did he watch her from? Let's go back 26.
In her mother's truck. And I don't think I lost her the whole time, all the way.
What was the first thing she said to you in person, though?
So I says, when I seen her, I can't remember, because there's cops questioning her and cops questioning me, and probably trying to keep us apart, probably.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense.
So what do you, I'm going to ask you some questions that are just out there. What do you think happened? I mean, what do you think happened?
I don't know. I just think it's so weird and odd the way Allie and Hunter acted after she got gone. That just blows my mind right there. That's very suspicious to me. And the way that McDonough got involved with them.
Who's McDonough?
Right. Chris McDonough. Chris McDonough got involved with them, and the way that he played into their lives like they were gold. That blows my mind. Literally.
Makes sense.
And
That damn Chris McDonough. How dare any YouTuber, or YouTubian, as Tim would call us, try to get Summer's story out there to the masses. I thought that was the whole idea, is to get her picture and her story out to as many people as you possibly could in the least amount of time.
I don't understand that. And okay, sir, you have to get me back on the right train of thought.
No,
I got you.
Sorry.
No, we want your thoughts. And I told you I'm gonna have to ask you some hard questions.
Yeah.
So what do you say to somebody who says, no, you're involved, your family's involved? How do you respond to that?
Well, for 3 months, I spent on the phone for 3 months. I accepted every friend request there was. People want, well, I'm your friend, we can work for you. And, for 3 months, I stayed on the phone day and night trying to find my baby, because I figured Facebook's the best tool possible to help find her. And but there's this group on Facebook combating us the whole time, and we don't know who this group is or what they're up to, but it seems like they're trying to throw the thing off.
What were they saying?
All kinds of stuff, creating drama, trying to throw the blame our way. No, you did this, you did that.
Wow, Facebook was the best way to get it out there and get it out quick. I don't think in the beginning anybody was starting drama unless it was people who knew you or knew the people who surrounded you.
What's Candace doing this whole time?
The same thing.
Yeah.
On Facebook. she might have been a little smarter than that. But I reached out to Facebook and YouTube and stuff to help find Summer, and they crucified us. Yeah. And so I'm out of it now, but for 3 months, that's all I did. So we didn't get no sleep the first 2 nights at all, and stayed up all night on Facebook. We don't know who we were talking to.
Yeah.
Could have been the police, could have been the kidnappers, could have been who knows who.
So you feel like she's been kidnapped, huh?
Oh, for sure. But by who? Don't know.
Why do you feel like it's for sure? Why do you feel like it's
because she would never leave our property. She would not even leave around the house because there was times when she was younger that she would just take off running, at the church, especially. And it's like, Summer, you can't do that. There's bad guys. And
You see them blinks he does real quick? A lot of time when people are not telling the truth, their eyes will blink like that, subconsciously. That's right, lie after lie. A 2-second cry, and then pour on the bullshit. And hope people believe you.
stuff like that. And
have you talked to her about how to talk about those situations? Does she understand stranger danger and those types of things?
Yes. I think we got her pretty well under control as far as that goes, especially around the house, because like somewhere there's bears, there's bad people, there's wildcats, there's wild dogs, and we just keep going through the list. And so she would never go far.
Yeah.
Even when her brothers, we taught her brothers to, if you're going to go down to the creek, you have to be together at all times. And we bought them each a pocket knife. And so they might go down the creek as long as we knew where they were. But she might go like halfway down the hill to watch them, but she wouldn't go all the way with them. She would stay at a safe distance, and when they started coming up, she would come up to the house first.
When she'd go off by herself, and let's say she'd get in trouble. When she would get in trouble and do something when she wasn't, did she mind? Did she mind?
She minded well. I've never had to discipline her or anything like that. I could just say one word to her, and she would just break down in tears. I'm like, Summer, I'm sorry, I didn't mean it.
So you notice he told the truth where he says he could say one word to her and Summer would break down and cry. He didn't blink. He didn't shake his head no. Them are some of the things they teach you in school. I've seen the church videos where she is all over everyone but her parents, just throwing that out in the universe. You're right, Be the Bean. The real danger was in that house. They say social media is the best tool, yet blame it for ruining their lives. Yeah, ruining their lives if you don't buy into the bullshit. Just think, if we would have believed Lori Vallow, them kids were safe. If we would have believed the West, them boys walked off. If you would have believed old Boswell, that baby, a babysitter took and was supposed to bring back. Then her mama had it. There was a billion stories there. But good God, you're supposed to believe them when they tell it. Even though all the signs are there. Hunting lodge. Yeah, what were they hunting? Deer? Bear? Dogs? People?
So sorry.
What about Candace? Was the same kind of relationship there?
They had a great relationship. Well, when Summer was born, she only wanted me for a long time. And if I come home from work or something, she would not want her mother. She wanted me. She just wanted me for first 18 months or so. And I never expected anything like that.
Yeah.
But Candace, so I'd be at work all day. So Candace would take her to the park and all kinds of stuff. She got to spend all kind of time with her, and doing, that's where all them pictures come from.
Yeah.
And she was proud of her, and she built a good relationship with her that way.
Did she, when she didn't mind Candace, did Candace punish her or discipline her?
Never.
Never?
No. I mean, the worst we've ever done is like, with our boys, really. Some are just.
What do the boys do?
Well, the boys will fight a lot.
Yeah, everybody spanks their kids. Everybody does that.
Yeah, for sure.
But the worst, we'd make them do timeouts. Yeah, you have to go over there. No TV, no nut, no games.
Yep, they look like the kind of timeout people, don't they? Which I heard, and this is allegedly, that Grandma liked to thump the boys in the balls, smack them behind their ears. Sounds like the old timeout to me.
That's the worst thing you can do is pull the games from them.
That's tough.
So every family has drama. Every family has drama. I mean, if somebody tells me their family doesn't have drama, I'm surprised.
Right.
So tell me about yours. What's the worst drama you ever had? I mean, I'm going to probe just because.
Our worst drama is probably related to drinking.
Okay.
Candace and me drinking, and that it can escalate and stuff like that.
Does that lead to violence ever?
Violence? I mean, there's been some violence, yeah, but I got in trouble here a while back over that stuff. But I was the one getting beat up.
Okay. So how long ago was that?
When I first come back from Utah, we had Allie left Jose there, just dumped him off there. And left.
Okay, we've heard Jose's version. We've heard Candace's. Well, we've seen the writing Candace wrote. Let's see what his body language says. I wish they would have showed if he crossed his arms, because a lot of times they protect their vital organs by crossing their arms. It's another subconscious thing they do. So let's see what the story's going to be.
Left him.
And who's Allie?
Allie and Hunter.
Oh, the same people.
Yeah,
Okay,
she wanted to be with that Jose guy, and she just dumped him off at her house.
Who's Jose?
He's just some guy that come. We don't know I don't know where he come from, but.
And how long ago was that?
I don't know, year.
So it's been a year ago. There's a guy named Jose. How well did you know Jose?
Sir?
How well did you know him?
I don't know him at all.
So he stayed at your house for a while?
He stayed at my house while I was in Utah.
Okay.
And my wife was trying to make me jealous, so I'd come back, and it worked very well. So I packed up everything in Utah and come back, and I flew across the country in my little truck and got back, and we was having a few drinks one night, and we almost started fighting, but he was calling me a cheater and said I did this and said I did that. And
in your house.
And every time he'd say something, my wife would push me. He'd say something else, my wife would push me. She just kept shoving me. About the, I don't know, 5th or 6th time that she shoved me, I had a beer bottle right here. And so I pushed it out of the way, and I grabbed that beer bottle, and I was going to hit that guy.
Yeah.
But instead, I just threw it somewhere else. But
yeah.
So they called the cops, and so one thing led to the other when the cops got there, and they told them I had a gun in the glove box, which I did. I said, "Yes, sir, I do. It's a black powder gun." And
well, we know that was the truth. He had a black powder gun in his glove box. We know that for a fact. on the police report. I know them poor kids. I pray for them boys. I pray that they have a wonderful life after this. That God shows them mercy in whatever they do in life. Makes them great adults.
Which I'm allowed to have, but you can't have it in my vehicle.
Right.
And I kind of forgot about that. But to me, with everything going around in our area, it was the safest place and most effective place to have it. If something happened to one of our kids or something.
Sure. Yeah.
But yeah, we realize alcohol and all that stuff's not good. And
where were the kids during all this?
Probably downstairs.
You think when you say probably, you know they were, or you just weren't cognizant of it?
I don't know where they were exactly. Yeah, I don't. It was later in the evening, so I'm assuming they're downstairs watching a movie or something.
Okay. How'd that resolve? How'd that get fixed?
Oh, they took me to jail. My mother-in-law told them I put real bullets in the gun, so I was facing 10 years, mandatory minimum.
Ooh. Wow, that's tough. How'd that get resolved?
I had to hire the crazy thing about that whole thing was I'm facing 10 years minimum mandatory, and I said, Your Honor, please OR me. I'm begging you. And that man OR'd me.
Wow.
I know.
So what's an OR for someone?
So he got released on his own recognizance. Does that have anything to do with old Timmy boy knowing that judge? Because remember, in Tim's video, he said he talked to that judge. He let us know that. And one thing bothers me about old Tim, I forgot what YouTuber sent him a list of things, and he answered everything on the list except how many times. I think they put it like Candace. I'm probably not saying it word for word, but Candace said you've been in and out of the loony bin. How many times have you been? And he skipped that question altogether. So it's kind of bothersome that there's a lot of RSOs, and usually they have to go to some kind of counseling. Did any of these people meet each other in some psych class or some psych facility? I've often wondered that. Because with that Glitchy Shoes on YouTube, who talks about these missing children and sells shoes with their face hidden inside, sounds like a psychopath to me. So I'm going to play a little bit more. I think we've already played whatever they cut out.
Cognizance, no bond, just
wow.
Promised to appear, and I couldn't believe that, but that man OR'd me. Yeah. He sure did.
Yeah. You got blessed.
Yes.
Somebody's looking out for you.
Yes. Yeah. So I was able to get a gunsmith. They told me to get a gunsmith and show them that was a black powder gun, which I was able to do. So they dropped it all down to a misdemeanor, and I was so happy. I was like, please, let me sign it before they change their mind.
Yeah. I'm sure that didn't fix the problem with you and Candace, though.
Well, no. I mean, that night, Candace's mother told him pack his stuff up and get out of there and leave. And so she hauled him out of there that night.
And how long ago was that? About a year, you said?
Yeah.
You've seen him again?
Huh?
Have you seen him since?
No.
How old is he about?
I have no idea.
20s, 30s, 40s?
40, yeah.
Has Candace talked to him since?
No, she didn't want nothing to do with him. It's just, She was just trying to make me jealous to come back home.
Okay.
Because I was trying to talk them into moving back to Utah.
Okay.
That's what I wanted to do. I had a good job up there, and I wanted to sell the property and move back up there, but she didn't want no part of it. So she won, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's an odd thing to say. She won by not going back to Utah. But didn't she really lose? Because if she would have went back to Utah, no one could have allegedly snatched Summer. And it's not funny. It's not funny, Dawn, at all. She didn't win. She lost. She lost everything that day.
That's tough. That's tough.
Yes, it is.
But that's fine. As long as she loves me, that's all good.
So did this guy have anything? Did he ever interact with Summer?
Not that I'm aware of. I mean, I'm sure they did. I mean, you know.
How long was he
don't
there?
know. I have no idea. Allie, when I went to Utah, they went out of state, but Allie and them wanted to spend some time with them, and they moved, you know, all their kids in there for a few days and had their fun or whatever they did. I don't know. So everything was fine up to the point that I don't know what happened between Allie and that dude. I have no idea. But she dumped him off there and left.
So I'm like some more hard questions for you. Did you have anything at all to do with your daughter's disappearance?
Sir?
Did you have anything to do with Summer's disappearance?
No, sir.
Do you have any idea where she might be?
I wish to God I did. If I did, we'd go get her.
Yeah, that is disturbing that he shakes his head yes when he's asked, did you have anything to do with Summer's disappearance? I'm going to rewind that because we've watched all of his facial expressions here. His head shaking, his eye twitching. But this question may tell everything.
So I'm like some more hard questions for you. Did you have anything at all to do with your daughter's disappearance?
Sir?
Did you have anything to do with Summer's disappearance?
No, sir.
Do you have any idea where she might be?
I wish to God I did. If I did, we'd go get her. I'd call TBI or whatever and say, look, I did this, I did that, I messed up. Can we please go get her now? I would have done that a long time. I would have done that day one.
Do you have any
No
reason?
point in lying.
Do you have any reason to believe your wife knows anything?
No, I don't think so at all. She's too tore up.
Do you think she'd tell you if she did?
Yeah.
If she been in a state where you could ask her that and she may not remember if you were.
I've asked her many times, what about this? What about that?
What about what?
You know, like what about her mother? You know, and then this or that. And what about this person? Or her mother's ex lover, some woman. Yeah, I asked her that the other night, and she's already in an old folks home. You know, no, she loved her daughter. There's no way. There's no way.
Yeah. So what do you think happened to her?
She was kidnapped.
Do you think there's something that you did that caused somebody to behave that way?
Well, with criminals, you don't really have to do anything. And I don't, you know, this has been brought up before. You know, maybe I owed some drug debt or something. I'm like, I got money in the bank. I don't need, you know, no.
Who would think you have a drug debt?
I have no idea. Well, this is what TBI asked me.
Sure.
Yeah, because somebody told TBI that you had a drug debt. Welcome back, Sky Blue Man. Dawn, do you mean maybe Grandis took Summer and sold her like she did Candace to you? Both men came in the same time, both working late. Doesn't add up to me. Me either. Now, Janet, don't you know that he only hangs out with church people, Christians? That's all he knows is criminals. He is stone cold psycho. Sky, you know that. He's a Christian. Every Saturday, he's at that church. Yeah, his body language is just off the charts. Do you think they know something? That the people asking the questions, do you think maybe they have some inside intel that the FBI or TBI told them to ask and not to broadcast? You know, they get in these cases. They come online and they act just like us. You don't know who's infiltrating. You got good guys and bad guys. And the good guys might appear to be bad guys online. I just hope they're building a case for Summer's sake, for the boys' sake.
Gonna look at every slide.
Right.
Yeah. So so you're in the
And
impression.
at that time, I had 3,000 in the bank. Why would I?
Yeah. So you think somebody got her?
For sure.
How would they do it, do you think?
Well, it'd be easy enough to sneak up that dog trail and stay hidden in the tree line. You wouldn't hardly be able to notice anybody there, especially if they had camo on.
Mm-hmm.
You wouldn't even see them. And they just have to wait for the right second for someone to step out that door or go into the basement or whatever. Our neighbors, at that time heard a scream, and she thought it was a really weird scream, like somebody had her mouth covered the whole time, and she was trying to catch a breath, kind of a scream. She could scream loud.
You know, that answer he just gave, I believe at some point she was took down that hill and put in a car because he didn't blink away. So I think he's telling the truth that she did scream. And did Jody Sue hear it because she was right there when it was all unfolding? I've often wondered. No, I don't think so. You can watch it till the end. I can't play the whole thing because I'm sure I'm gonna get struck, but I don't care. I've not been struck yet. Yeah, he does always blame others. Little Wing, too many busts going on around the Wales people for me to believe anything different. Yep. But is it Hawkins County who's putting the heat on, or is it TBI, FBI, DEA? The next topic, okay, we'll play that.
How close was that neighbor?
Well, from the bottom, from Ben Hill Road down there at the bottom, their driveway is directly across from ours almost, and it just goes straight up to their hill, and we live on this hill.
So you don't think Candace would have heard that?
No, because I can pull up in our driveway and honk the horn, and they can't even hear that if the TV's going inside and everything like that. So Candace was inside the house searching, looking, going through the basement and everything else. So where's Summer? And
But I mean, when for the scream, so the muffled scream, she wouldn't be able to hear it from the front yard, but they could hear it.
Well, if she was outside, yes, but if she was inside, no.
Was she outside or inside?
Well, we don't know for sure. She was looking all through the house, everywhere. I'd say she's probably inside.
But
Gosh damn, was she outside or was she inside? I mean, they start off saying she was inside. Then TBI says she was outside. And Dawn and Candace go back and forth with she inside or outside. It's been both. It's like a rehearsal or run through of a script. Liar.
When the scream happened, do you think?
Probably. Because if she would have been outside, she probably would have heard it. Yeah.
Is there anything about Candace's story that makes you question the story?
No, not the way it played out and everything like that. I mean, yeah, you always have questions, and I'd ask myself, and
And I don't like that statement, the way that played out. The way what played out? The plan y'all made? That's a disturbing statement all in itself. That's what the West monster said too. And that's how it played out. And we know what happened to them children now.
but the way that it happened and her emotions and her state of mind.
What were the questions that you had?
I mean, I don't really have any. I mean, I don't really have any questions. I mean,
did you talk to your boys about what happened?
The questions, yeah.
Go ahead with that.
My one boy feels bad because he didn't go downstairs and play. And I was really down one day, and my other son comes and he says, "Dad, it's not my fault." I says, "I know, son, I know it's not your fault." I had to tell him I was sorry for whatever way I was acting, you know.
Sometimes you get upset when you get a lot on your mind.
Human, part of being human. It's tough.
So when you had questions for Candace, let's get back to that for a second.
Yeah.
So what were you?
Mostly about Allie and Hunter, and
Mostly about Allie and Hunter. So he's put it towards Ajon. He's put it towards his own boys. And now he's put it towards Allie and Hunter. No responsibility from the mother. None whatsoever. But she was probably with the church lady.
and their family, and the way they turned on us suddenly. After, as soon as Summer got gone, they turned on us, and I don't understand that. And I don't know the whole story. And I wish she was here, and I wish she would answer these questions.
Yeah,
because she knows firsthand. I don't.
You gotta remember something. Tell us. You gotta tell us something.
I don't know. It's like they blamed us right away for her disappearance. Like we've done something. You did something to your daughter or something to that effect. I can't be sure word for word, but I know it was something to that effect.
Yeah. I know you've been talking to everybody on the planet, but there's got to be some what usually solves problems is what else? What else do you know that you haven't said to anybody? Or what else do you know that we haven't heard?
Yeah.
Such as
We don't know. I mean, that's the whole point. It might be that one piece that somebody can put story in.
I don't know.
Is there a part you haven't said that you've told me a couple of things on the phone?
Yeah.
You've said a couple of things. Maybe there's some things you haven't said to somebody else that you've told me. So think of the things the reasons you think she might be missing or what may have happened.
Okay. Well,
Okay, let's hear this. Some of the things that he may think. And I bet not one is Brandis and Candace should have been watching that baby if she ever made it home alive. I don't think she made it home. If she did, it wasn't alive.
okay. I don't want to make my stepsisters mad or anything like that. I want them to just leave me the hell alone. But, so they said they never knew Summer on YouTube. They never knew anything about Summer. And so the day that this happened, the very next day they called TBI and say, we know what happened to her. Her daddy did this to her and her daddy did that to her. And then he probably got caught and killed her and all kind of stuff like that.
Yeah.
That was the first thing ever said. And then they said that both my nieces said that I did some horrific things to them for 7 years straight and told them if anything was ever said about it, that I would kill them.
Mm-hmm.
And they let this ride the whole time for 70 some odd days before they clarified and straightened it out. These were horrific lies. So when these lies first come out, I had women calling my phone, screaming at me, "Did you really do this?"
Right.
I'm like, "Do what? What are you talking about?"
Who are they telling this to?
Me. How'd they get my numbers?
I just wonder if anybody has ever, in the beginning, called him and screamed at him. I've never spoke to him. Don't ever plan on speaking to him. But I sure am going to pull up a seat in the courtroom when this is all over with. I'm going to save just to do that. However long it takes, I'm going to be there every day of it.
The stepsisters. Who are they telling this to?
I guess groups in Utah, Facebook, and doing videos on YouTube.
Have they been here though? Have they been here where that could have happened?
No, they did this all from Utah.
Well, where would they get information? Did they have any information, or they're just saying whatever?
They're making up some horrific lies about me.
So
I barely know my nieces.
But have you been around? When they're saying these things happen, were you around in that time?
No.
Were they? So they weren't. Have they been to the house?
No, they never. No.
Have you been to their house?
I barely know Trish.
Yeah.
I barely know her, I do know Amanda a little bit, but just.
Have you
barely.
been to their house?
No, I've never been to their house.
Have you been anywhere with them other than
I've seen them at my dad's house.
Okay, for how long a period of
time? I don't know. Not long. I don't know them that well. They were little kids.
You got along with them though?
I don't know about that.
Yeah, but when they're.
Was this the part you were talking about, Amy? You don't know him that well. But damn, how many people's fault now? The YouTubians. It's Dudleys, Alleys, H's. He named Fred Hill. He never would say Fred Light's name. He don't say Halls, but Candace says Hammond and Dobbs. But where is the blame on the adults that were supposed to be taking care of that baby that day? I don't get it. Because you know Brandy gave her old man hell when her son went missing, even though he had nothing to do with it. She gave him hell because that's a normal reaction. I know she's sorry for it, but he was the adult, and she didn't blame everybody else. And it wasn't even his fault.
They were little kids. You knew them. That's where you got to know them when they were little kids, I guess.
Yeah, to a point.
Yeah.
How much interaction do you have with them?
Well, see, not much, because you got my side of the family, the Wellses, and then you got the Simonsons. Those are two different entities brought together by, okay, my stepmother is my babysitter. Okay, so we've known each other our whole lives. And, you know, when we were kids, when we were little kids, it was really good. My stepbrothers and stuff, we played together all the time. We done everything. It was good, you know, and even with our stepsisters. But I don't know what happened when, I mean, me and my stepsister have had some issues. She wants to play innocent. That's fine, whatever.
Yep, the blame game. Well, when arrests start being made, and we know there's going to be a trial, let's all get together and get the biggest Airbnb. So every night we can have a party that justice is coming. But I'm going to stop this right here because we're going to keep this about Summer. I know there's other victims, allegedly. Well, no, they're factual victims because he admitted to them. But we're going to keep the light shining where it needs to stay, and that's on Summer. And once they close Summer's case, then we can support the others. Because Summer's case is the one that's been around for only 2 years. And she's a child. And she needs us to stand up for her. And the other 2 are grown, or 3 are grown. But we gonna keep this about Summer. No disrespect to nobody else. But I'm tired of Summer getting buried with all the bullshit that the parents throw out there. And them adults are speaking up for themselves, and they don't need our help at this point. They need law enforcement. So you guys, I'm gonna go search for this missing Riverview woman. Let me pull her flyer up here. She's 38 years old. She went missing on April the 10th. Near where my sister lives. When I was taking my mom to the hospital, I seen buzzards. Well, I'm going to go look there this morning since my husband's home and he can go with me. If I can find her flyer. But that's the least I can do is to go look and see if that's her out there where the buzzards were buzzing. Guess they didn't make this big enough. So her name is Sarah Dreyer, 38 years old, missing April 10th. Nobody has seen her. Several neighbors and her family have been searching the preserve. Sarah was seen entering the preserve at Donnymore Gate. We have asked to concentrate efforts to searching along the left and right of the gate following the fence line. Don't go alone. We all know animals live in the preserve. Be cautious and keep in contact with someone at all times. Sarah was wearing blue shorts, skirt, and a black tank top. Weather will be an issue very soon. If you can join, please come as soon as possible. So that's what I will be doing, is going to look where I seen the buzzards. So you guys pray for me. Pray for her. And until next time, you guys.